It's a morning after the Black Stars put us through heartbreaks, as if the floods have not already done that. Colombia swept us out of the World Cup the same way the flood swept people in Accra. Devastation on all levels. The big issue is on 97.3 CTFM and on ChannelOne television. I am Umaru Sanda Amadu, a very dampened, spirited man this morning, but what can come, can come. Many were saying you shouldn't have expected it, you shouldn't have celebrated, you shouldn't have waited. I think I blame my phone for blowing the alarm for me to wake up and watch a horrible, terrible, planless game. But be it as it may, the big issues make it to the show, and that is one of the big issues I'll be talking about. I introduce my panelists and the topics after this. Please welcome. Welcome back. This is a big issue on 97.3 CTFM and on ChannelOne television, broadcasting from our studios at number 5 Ola Hansen Lane at Tesano in Accra. A very good morning to all of you who have taken time to join us on the weekly discussion show called The Big Issue here in Accra. I am Umaru Sanda Amadu. You can join us with your messages on 020-444-7033, 020-444-7033, or 0543-986-996, 0543-986-996. Let me know what your views are. Did you get affected by the flood situation in Accra? Send me a message. Let me know how the damage was and whether you have recovered or not. Did you get affected by the poor performance of the Black Stars? Send me a message. Did you recover or you're still recovering? My eyes are red. I didn't sleep, wasted sleep, and I'm sure a lot of you will be having a similar story to tell this morning. I'm going to introduce my guest and then we'll get a discussion started. Directly facing me is a man who has been Member of Parliament and been regional minister, now hoping to be a national organizer of the second largest political party, at least based on the numbers from the votes of 2024, the New Patriotic Party. The Honorable Daniel Ni Kwate Titus Glover. Ni, you're welcome. Thank you so much. My next guest, he used to be someone I used to speak to on political matters, checking whether the red cockerel is alive or not. It appears he has decided to abandon that whole enterprise. He's busy doing his engineering work. Engineer Kosi Dedey, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Hope everything is well.
Yes, everything.
Are you still with the CPP?
I'm still with the CPP, just that I don't do a partisan politics anymore.
Very well. Okay. My next panelist is, I always make this point that not many people leave Parliament voluntarily. He decided to leave Parliament on his own. Now he wants to be chairman of the governing National Democratic Congress. He was a radio commentator doing football and then went to do politics, served as minister, deputy, and main minister for sports. Edwin, Lante, Vanderpuye, no more. Yeah. Hope you are doing well. We thank God. We thank God. So we're going to start off. In fact, on Zoom, I have a former Greater Accra Regional Minister, former Member of Parliament for Katamanso. He's also a regent. He's my landlord. It's Chief.
Tache ni lai afutiago.
Tache, forgive me. Tache. Ni lai akwete agbu. My own landlord.
Maputo.
Ipope. Ibe. Yobo ni lai afutiago. Numo ofane money.
Morning.
Ofane ojogba. So I'll come to you because I want to start with you. People are saying that we need a rolling style to deal with the problems in Accra. You have worked with him before and all of those things. They say Accra needs a strong man. So I'll come to you in a bit. I want us to just see briefly the videos from this week on Monday into Tuesday when Accra was inundated by flood and eventually submerged lots of communities.
29 floods which left at least 15 people dead and affected more than 7,700 households across parts of the country once again exposed Ghana's recurring flood challenge. In response, government has launched a post-flood mitigation exercise led by the Ghana Armed Forces to reduce the risk of future flooding and protect lives and property. Director General of Joint Operations at the Ghana Armed Forces and leader of the exercise, Brigadier General Foster Okanyeboa, outlined measures to reclaim waterways, remove illegal structures, and improve drainage.
The nationwide cleanup and recovery exercise will focus on restoring public safety, improving sanitation, and preventing secondary disasters such as outbreaks of cholera, typhoid, and other waterborne diseases. As part of the operation, the Ghana Armed Forces will deploy personnel, engineers, specialized equipment to clear major drains, streams, rivers, and other critical waterways. In accordance with applicable laws and directives of the appropriate civil authorities, structures illegally erected within waterways or that pose an immediate danger to public safety and flood mitigation efforts may be removed where necessary.
Coordinator of the Greater Accra Resilient and Integrated Development GARID project, Dr. Kwejo Ohenesafo disclosed that over 10,000 structures have encroached on drainage buffer zones across 16 assemblies in the Greater Accra region, with about 16% of the buffer lands lost to development.
Some of the developments are pushing the water courses into misdirecting them, so they are now meandering instead of having to follow the straight paths that originally they were supposed to pass. The Laffa Basin has experienced the same thing. You see the image, this is the Malam section of the Laffa Basin, the Malam Market, close to the Malam Market. In 2010, a few developments in the wetlands, but by 2026, more than half of the land is already taken up by developments.
Minister of State in charge of Government Communications, Felix Kwachio-Fosu, however, assured that relief distribution is underway through NADMO, with affected communities in parts of Greater Accra already receiving support, while logistical arrangements are being finalized for victims in other regions.
To our brothers and sisters in the Central Region, Volta, Western, Ashanti, Western North, and the Eastern regions, please be assured that you have not been forgotten. Even as we speak on the high-density displacements in Greater Accra, logistics columns are currently being organized to dispatch massive relief packages to the Central Region, Volta Region, and all other affected districts across the country.
So that's Chief Government Spokesperson Felix Kwachio-Fosu. Now this is coming after a wave of stress and challenging videos that we saw. Accra totally submerged. People have lost their vehicles, their homes. Lives have been lost. Many people have been displaced, over 30,000 people. It is a very sad moment, and it's happened on the last but one day of June. And we remember what happened on June 3rd, 2015. Now something similar, even though not the same number of deaths happening in Accra. So what have we learned after 10 years? Nothing, it appears. How do we deal with this matter? Do we need a strong man? We need a strong institution. What exactly should we do? Many people, when this conversation comes out, say, we need a strong man who can push and do things right. But the question is, can we really get such a person? Jerry John Rawlings is remembered for going into the gutters and cleaning things himself. But is that what it's supposed to be? Or we need the institutions to work where everybody play their role? That's the question we want to start with today. Is it the case that we are not managing our country well, and indeed our city? I want to speak to someone who served as Greater Accra Regional Minister. He also went to serve as Volta Regional Minister at a point. He was a member of parliament for one of the critical constituencies of the Greater Accra region, one of the most expanding, or one of the expanding constituencies now, Bunkatamanso, where he's also a chief of. Honorable Nilaya Fotiagbo, popularly known as Lion, worked closely with Jerry John Rawlings, the late. He's joined us via Zoom. Numo, you're welcome once again.
Thank you very much, I said I'm giving to the rest of the contributors over there.
I will. They actually are sending their regards to you. Lante, Vanderpuye, and your brother from Tema East. I'm not sure. I think it's your son, and Kosi Dedey.
Okay.
Before I talk to you about flood, I want to ask you if you have recovered from the defeat the Black Stars suffered last night, the fact that we crashed out. I'm sure you watched this dawn.
Yes. I've been badly affected because I was in America to watch the other matches. I was in Toronto, I was in Boston, and I was in Philadelphia. So, in fact, it's a problem for some of us to see our players going through what we wouldn't want them to go through, because we have so much love for them. And if a thing like this happens to them, it becomes like a sympathy, because we sympathize with them for the feeling of Ghanaians, not only in Ghana, but all over the world. Because when you have been if you have been to one of these matches, you see how Ghanaians all over the United States of America, and US is not like UK or some other countries, but you can see the size of the United States of America. People trying to come by air somehow will be driving from their various locations in the whole of the United States, just trying to come and watch the match in one of the states. And I was there. I was there to see everything for myself, and I had to come right back to Ghana because we'll be having our festival from today, Saturday, in Nwa. So I had no option to come because I'm part of the traditional authority, and I ended up watching the match in my house. So in fact, I sympathize with the guys. I don't think they want to, or they wanted to go through the situation they've gone through. And if anything, they would have loved to win the match. But this is what we all experience, and this is what happened to all of us as a nation.
I mean, you expended money, you traveled, you went to watch 3 of the games. I mean, all of us watching from here say we didn't show much, we didn't do much. It's almost like we are playing by luck. And now we've been eliminated, deservedly actually. Our elimination, I believe, we deserve to have been eliminated. Do you have someone to blame? Do you blame the coach, the boys? What do you blame?
I can't blame anybody now just because I didn't know what actually happened. The first thing I would like to talk about is about the 2 goalkeepers. The one who was working with us throughout, and he was the one we kept in the post throughout the other 3 matches, and we saw the display and everything. People who have been in football always talk about luck. Luck by maybe an individual, or luck, I don't know, I don't understand that one. But I've heard them saying it, that the other goalkeeper who was in the post has some luck. And this one, the one who was brought in yesterday or today, this morning, don't know why they say that. But we should have allowed that keeper to be in the post. But for the fact that it was changed, that can also have also contributed to the whole problem. But as for the players, just that maybe they didn't train the way these people maybe have trained. Because when you look at our opponents, they were playing like soldiers, as if they have been to military training, and they were all over the place. And they were faster than our players. 50-50 chances, they were taking advantage of it. And our people were like a little bit heavy in terms of weight and all those ones. And these ones, they were fast because they have a lot of energy, and they have a lot of stamina, and they are very fast, and they were also very serious. They don't take any chances for granted at all. And in this world, extra effort is what always puts you in the lead. But if you slack, and if you think, oh, let me just allow, some of the players will just get hold of the ball, and then they don't even think someone will be closer to them, or their opponents will be behind them or very close to them. And the least or the little delay, then they end up taking ball from them. And these are just petty mistakes that can lead you into disaster. So we didn't wish them badly, but this was what happened. And we all have to accept it in good faith. But just it's a pain.
We don't have a choice. We just deal with that. Now let's talk about another thing that is very painful, which happens every year, maybe twice every year. I don't know for how long, but as far as I remember, the flooding in Accra. You were abroad, but I'm sure you've seen the video. I don't know if you returned before the events of Monday or you have seen the video. You have been...
I came on Friday morning.
Okay. And then on Monday, we saw what we saw.
Yes.
Is it that we don't have a strong man to fix Accra, or we don't have the proper system to fix Accra? How do you see the challenge with flooding over the years in Accra?
Anyway, I won't put any blame on anybody. I really won't. This is not the time for me to blame anybody or blame people. Just because we are in the midst of, or we are in a situation that we all have to rather find a solution to the problem, but not to shift blames or maybe accuse anyone. This must be a lesson to all of us as a country. And what we need to do is that we need to, now we have all seen that the flooding issue is a priority in our country, and we have to, during the time of Professor Mills, I do remember when I was a Minister of State, we had this serious flooding in the whole of the country, Ghana, and I was assigned to take responsibility of central and western regions. And in fact, I went all the way, I went to Takrady Township itself. I taught the whole community together with the officials on the ground. From there, I went to the top part of the northern part of western region, Wasakoprom, Bodia, Asakagwa, all the way to Seshubwakun, those areas to at least ascertain or visit the grounds and then find out exactly what the situation on the ground, to visit the district assemblies and then go see the issues and then report back to the presidency. And in fact, we wrote a very good report and brought it to the council for necessary action to be taken. And it looks aside, we just took our eyes and focused on this flooding issue, and we're concentrating on developmental problems like other areas, development, maybe health issues, road construction works, and then some other areas, instead of the flood issues. And as for what happened in Accra, for what I have heard, and from people, and looking at it on the screens, I think even in New York, there can be flooding in New York at any time. Even in Washington, D.C., there can be flooding in Washington at any time. Even in London, it can happen to them. Just because God, you can't fight, and God can do anything, or anything that can happen by nature or natural. No human being can be blamed for that. Because if it should rain, or if it will rain for a whole, maybe 19 hours or 15 hours, non-stop, heavily, in any country in this world, even in Germany, in Holland, they get flooded. So for that one, I wouldn't want to put this kind of natural disasters into as a blame to anyone.
But the point is made that in those other places you mentioned, they would have been prepared. They are resilient. They have structures in place. We were found wanting. In fact, even when it came to rescue...
If report, I agree with you, if reports were given earlier by the weather people, that they will be having rains, or having serious rains like what we experienced last time. And then that one, we should have prepared enough to solve or to stand against this problem by certain awarding contracts very fast to deserving people who think can do the work very well, like some of the drains we see around Odor, the drain around Circle itself, the main one, that will take a lot of water into the sea. And when you come to Peshi, if we have been able to focus and work on Peshi very well. When the Minister for Greater Accra, my own daughter, Honorable Aquile, went to the patient area and demolished those structures, the silting work should have just continued or started, and then make sure the gutter that was blocked by all those individuals who were trying to put houses on filling the gutters before putting their structures on them. We'll start just doing the desilting work before even these rains comes, and it's only at that area. When you move down part of the military range, after the military range, before you get to Teshi, there's a very big drain system over there. From there, when you come down after Teshi, between Teshi and Wa, there's a very big drain over there, the gutter over there.
So is demolition the solution to our problems? Is that what is that?
That's why I said if the demolitions are done, or after the demolitions have been done, the desilting of those gutters where those structures were put up should have started immediately by making sure all those ones have been cleared. And you know, actually, this is, if you're a regional minister, you need to be. Unfortunately, my colleague today is not having a deputy minister because we are trying to reduce the size of cabinet. But there are things that she does, and it should have been the work of the deputy minister, so that the main minister will be visiting every community in the region like 3-4 times before, maybe within 2 years or something. And that one, you'll be informed of situations on the ground, be it health issue, be it educational problems, be it road construction works, where graveling of roads has to be done, where tarring of roads has to be done. If it's about energy or power, to be extended to some of the communities that are only given power or maybe electricity, those ones too will also be done. And then almost every area rests on the shoulders of the regional minister, not because he's in charge directly as a sector minister, but it is for the regional minister to feed the sector ministers of the true and real situation on the ground. And we do talk a lot. When we move out, we make sure the cameras are behind us, they take pictures and videos of what we are doing, so that periodically it will be appearing on the screens for people within the catchment area to know exactly what you are doing, so that your sector ministers will also come to your aid after you have given them the reports for some of the actions to be taken. So you need to be very strong enough. I remember in the area of, apart from flooding, chieftaincy and all those ones, during my time, I even went ahead to give warning that for the fact that I'm a regional minister, I'm part of the traditional every family in the region. So if you think you are installing or maybe appointing someone, even as the head of a family, you need to invite me. And if you invite me or extend invitation to me, I will check. I'll do a background check whether what you are going to do is the right thing, or you are the rightful person to do what you are inviting me for. So you need to be very strong enough. Right. Not that you have to be mean on the people. You need to be strong enough to hold the bull by the horn. That's the only way that you can solve problems.
I just have one question for you before you take leave of us. You worked with Rawlings. He would typically enter the gutters, and people celebrated that one. Now, President Mahama decided to fly in a chopper to observe the scene. People are criticizing him that he shouldn't have done that. What's your view on this?
I saw the pictures at the time the old man was flying. And when I look at the video, and I heard people complaining. Yesterday, I heard a woman complaining and insulting the president. But the only thing I can say to clear the president is that if he had gone down on the road with a blockade and with a water situation on the ground, there is no way that he would be able to know exactly or have the full understanding of the situation on the ground. That is why he went up. And I was doing it when I was the regional minister. But the only difference is that I was that strong and fast enough to look at all these problems. But before the president will go up, I have been there already. as a regional minister to check and then even report back to the president for the president to know exactly what it is. But in the case of Honorable the President of the Republic or the current president, he is still a young man. So some of the things that he would decide to be and the office to be informed or explained to, he would like to do it by himself, you know. And then you, the regional minister, will join him, and then you just go and then look at everything. Give him full report of the things you have seen on the ground before even the flooding happens, so that he'll be more informed of, because there is no one in the region that can give him enough information than you yourself as a regional minister. Okay. When you are in charge and you have been on the ground and you have been to almost every corner of the region, so you know what is happening.
Very well.
And you know what exactly what it is. Then you'll be explaining to him what has to be done, what actually has to be taken, and all those ones. Okay. So these are some of the things that, as better for the blame, the president going up, you can't blame the president for going up at a time, because everywhere was flooded. And the vehicles wouldn't have been able to move that fast enough to know exactly what it is. Okay. That's why we go up to ascertain and then know what is happening. Within a short time, you can go to Ada area. I used to go all the way towards Anyangwi, between Greater Accra and the Water region, and then fly over and then come to around Botiano area and Weja within a short time, and then come back to the Air Force base to come and land. Okay. Then after that, you go on the ground and then start working.
No more. Thank you so much for taking time off your schedule this morning to speak to us. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
That's the Honorable Nila Yafote Agbo. He's a chief now and also former member of parliament for Ponkatamanso and former Greater Accra Regional Minister, joining us on the discussion on flood. Let's come in studio now. His successor in office is sitting directly in front of me, the Honorable Daniel Titus New Glover, or New Quartet Titus Glover. Numo, we are back to the discussion around flooding in Accra. I think 2 weeks or so ago, I had you in the studio. We talked about preventive measures that have to be taken, and then we saw what we saw on Monday. Where are the failures? Where can we track the failures of our state too?
Umaru, thank you very much, and good morning to your viewers, your good self, and my cousin Lante, who has been away for some time now. The last time we met was a couple of months ago in Kumasi. But I understand his absence. Then
you also be away, because me and you are doing the same thing.
We met and we compared notes because we were all going for elections.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And Kosi Dedey. First of all, I think that we need to observe some minutes of silence on this show for those 32 Ghanaians who have lost their lives. When we sit back and you watch the TV, where people are being washed in this water, at a point in time, I was told that a family of 8, a couple and 6 of their children who live in the kiosks were taken away by these floods. I also saw a guy in the water in a wooden kiosk, sort of. And there was nowhere he could save his life. And that is why some of us were not comfortable when His Excellency the President, on the 1st of July, the Thanksgiving that he did, some of us were not comfortable, with all due respect to him. They could have turned that Thanksgiving to a day of mourning because we've lost lives. Because I recall when our colleagues, on the 6th of August, the whole of the nation turned mourning. So we could have used that opportunity, but unfortunately what happened was not to the best of this country, where he was singing, there will be showers of blessings. And you could see the backlash that has come out of it. There should be lessons that we learn going forward when similar things should happen in the future. And you ask,
But
What
the
is-
National Thanksgiving thing, it was scheduled before the
they should
flood.
have cancelled it or turn it into a day of mourning.
Should we,
in my
not
candid
thank,
opinion.
should we not thank God in all things?
No, but thanking God in all things, but this particular one, it's just too much for us. 32 people. Some have been lost. We can't even identify them. We can't even see them. In Tema, Kofi, a lady who sells cabbages in the Committee 1 market, she sits on a slab, a wooden slab on a drain. It got broken. She entered till date. She has not been found. That was most unfortunate. So I thought that, Ali, we could have used that Thanksgiving to a day of mourning. The whole country. Just like we did for our comrades who passed in that crash. But there's a lesson we take from some of these things that happens. And you've raised a very important matter as to Accra floods. And I would say that on the 3rd of June 2015, when the president was still in office at the time, he commissioned the Justice Dossier, the Lali Dossier Committee, to investigate the cause of these floods and the fires and going for the recommendations that comes with it. And with this hindsight of this Bragan, and now that he's the current president, I think that he has a rich experience as to what he needs to deploy to make sure we deal with some of these problems that has come. In 2012, in fact, immediately after the June 3rd, in November 2015, Dredge Masters was engaged to start the desilting and the dredging of the Korle Lagoon and Odo. And when you look at the work that was done, when we succeeded as MPP government, we have to continue from 2017, 2018, 2019, all the way. Then from 2022 to 2024, Gary took over. So one of the problems that I have identified was the refusal to dredge the Korle because it builds up silt. Because most of the sand all over, because it's an open drain, the sand where they move towards the estuary of the Korle Lagoon, you see the sand heaped there. And I recalled in 2017, 2018, the tax of dredge masters was about 500,000 tons, metric tons of silt that need to be desilted. Almost 300,000 metric tons was desilted, equivalent to about 20,000 tipper trucks.
From that drain?
From that drain. From that drain. So where you hold on to it and you don't continue, it becomes a problem. It heaps up and the flow of the water becomes a challenge. Number two is about attitudes of our own people. Our own people. The assembly officers who are in charge of enforcement and planning approvals, sometimes we hold them responsible. When I was in office, I went to Total, the Malam Total, when you descend from overhead. Yeah. When you do a detour, heading towards back to Doko, on your right, it leads you into the mangroves there. A Chinese man has claimed part of the land and he has used us to construct warehouses for rental. We saw with the Regional Security Council, heaped of latrites. He was claiming the land. We have to stop them and task the assembly to make follow-ups on some of these things that happen.
I think that's the same place I hear they are dumping.
The president was there last year.
They are dumping refuse there now here.
The president was there last year with the regional minister. I stopped those people and tasked the assemblies to be there. They went to Dansoma, Otojo. I was alarmed what I saw. In the mangroves, you see the type of plants that grows, that long, tall
the
plants.
Grass,
You see people, the youth in Dansoma, selling those lands, those mangroves, and fill them.
And Otojo, the Jaw there means a valley.
Jaw Valley. You see a big, huge warehouse that has been built on the land because they claim it from the mangroves. And God, in his own wisdom, has a way of using nature to deal with some of these disasters. It is these mangroves that hold the volume of the water. Then gradually it shepherds it into the Atlantic. But human character, human behavior, our propensity for fast money will lead us selling these lands into these problems that we see. We stopped that immediately. I charged the MCE for Ablekuma West to make sure nobody goes. And they've erected bar. Because the tipper trucks goes and comes out. They have a bar. If you have no access, you cannot enter. And there's somebody seated there. We even have to arrest one of the trucks. This is what was happening. This is the problem that was happening. Number two, most of the assembly approvers, they sit in their offices without going to the ground. This is an engineer. Without going to the ground to find out whether the siting of this building is in a waterway or otherwise. You sit in your office in your comfort and you just approve. And you only go and you go and do whatever.
Even though we have district engineers who are supposed to
You see,
move.
there are supposed to be supervision on the ground. I've been an assembly member before, from 1998 to 2002.
Okay.
At that time, Adenta municipality, Ogbojo and all those areas was under Tema Municipal Assembly. Ashama was under Tema Municipal Assembly. Bonkata Manso and until recently Tema West. Ni Ama Ashite, I worked under him.
Former Great
Umaru, I can tell you, Ni Ama Ashite will not go to sleep. His eyes and ears was everywhere. And assembly members were up to tax. When you see the slightest thing, you just give the alarm and they will come and stop you. People start constructing late in the night, but the next morning they'll be at the lintel level, at the waterways. If the assemblies are proactive and make sure that they deal with some of these things, we wouldn't have reached where we are now.
I think this time they still go, except that they collect money and go back.
Absolutely. Somebody, when he start the construction, will use the right paint and brush and stop work. He has done it, not even assembly.
Yeah.
And they'll go ahead in the night and they do all these kinds of things. Another problem that I've identified is our inability to continue the sweeping in the metropolis, in the towns.
Sweeping.
The cancellation of the Zoom Lion contract from last year, for almost a year now. Look at the number of refuse that are in the water, ends up in the ocean.
The cancellation of the contract to Zoom Lion.
I mean, if for a year you have not swept, and the understanding is that let's give to the assemblies to do it, the assemblies don't have the capacity. Logistically, materially, financially, they don't have the capacity.
But there are other companies they could contract.
They don't have the capacity. Sorry to use these words. And the person who has the capacity to do this, you've asked him to stop the work. He's now in 29 African countries. Lagos alone, he has 25 years contract that he's working to collect these refuse for the town. So when you are not collecting these things, they end up choking the drains. They will not come up. Look at the refuse. Look at it. That is coming up. Today, the Sakumo Lagoon, you see, this is a rail line. It's almost close. If there should be continuous rain for the next 5 hours, I can tell you the Sakumo Lagoon will overflow onto the road.
And into the sea.
In 1995-96 thereabout, in the Rolling Star, may he so rest in peace, it overflowed like that. It cut up the whole road and divided the road into two in Tema. If you have a Nungwa coming, you just stop.
Yeah.
If you have a Tema, you stop. And you just cross like that. Until that thing was. So the channel where the lagoon enters the sea
Lagoon.
and the fresh sea enters the lagoon is choked. You see the weeds in the lagoon now. They've blocked it. So if you don't desilt, where do you go? So these are some of the things that I think that it can help us to deal with this flooding that we talk about. Then finally, is about the release of the funds.
What funds?
This week, today is what? Saturday.
Yeah.
I was in Metro, and the World Bank report on the Garrett project. The whole of this year, they've not released any money to pay for the work that they have done. Because the finance said they are doing their what, blah, 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 blah. I'm not saying it is wrong for them to hold up, but some of these things will quicken the steps to make sure you release the money for them to continue. But this is what has landed us. So I think that there are so many factors that are purely human that we could have avoided it. This money that is being given to the victims of this floods and all this it could have been money that could have released from the Ministry of Works and Housing, so that they can use it to desilt all the major streams and the drains that we have in Accra. One of my chiefs, Nilafa, Kofi knows him, Okufuobo, I saw him that he has hired a backhoe into the Lafa River, desilting himself. And I felt that is highly remarkable, because this is not the work of the chief. It is the duty of the municipal assembly to ensure that the stream of Lafa is desilted so that the water can flow easily and go. This is a chief who have realized that there's a need for me to step in. So I think that going forward, releasing of monies must be on time. Attitude of our people need to be punished. We need to set examples for people to know that, look, what you are doing is bad. We don't need to do it.
I've heard an argument made, and Lion repeated it this morning, that the volume of rain we saw, if it fell anywhere in the world, they would be inundated the same way we're inundated. So it's not as if we're not prepared or anything, but the water was just too much. Do you buy that?
I do buy that, but that also would not prevent us from doing what we are supposed to do. Why are you not desilting? At least that could have minimized the extent of the damage. The volume is high, but your refusal, deliberate refusal to dredge, desilt, pay contractors to do their work. You stop sweeping. The contractor who does these things has been stopped not to work, and give to assemblies who lack the capacity to deal with all these things. So yes, the level was so high, but our preparedness and our preparation towards dealing with these problems was human.
Amadios sent me a message. He said I should say to you that Amadios. He says, please tell Titus that the woman has been found dead in Tema New Town.
Oh,
that's the woman you're talking about. Yeah. So that's just by way of information to you. Let me come to the honorable Edwin Lante Vanderpuye. You have been a member of parliament in Accra. You have been a minister, deputy for local government, with supervision over local assembly authorities. Where should we start from in dealing with this matter? Because it keeps happening every year. It's almost as if we are a hopeless situation.
Well, Umaru, thank you very much. And let me say good morning to our viewers and to my cousin and to engineer. Me and him have been in this game for some time now. Okay. It's a long time since when I knew him, he wasn't bearded.
And the beard was not green.
No, the beard wasn't green.
Let me say this, having been born in Accra, having lived most of my life in Accra, and having served in various capacities in the governance system of Accra, and having worked with our traditional authorities, and also my appetite for local governance, I think I'm well versed enough in this flooding issue. Let me also thank God for the opportunity to have served, at least, at the local government ministry, and also the opportunity I had when I was invited by President Kufuor in 2002 to be in the committee he set up after the 2001 flooding. Under Ufe Dakun, then mayor of Accra, to join the American engineers who came to look at the Accra situation and proffer solutions to stop the perennial flooding. The first thing all of us will have to look at is, what is Accra? Accra is a city which has been built in a very critical geographical area. Accra is sitting between the Atlantic Ocean in the south and then various types of hills, ridges, scarps to the northern side of Accra. And as such, Accra is torn between what we call engineering pressure. Whilst the pressure from the Atlantic Ocean comes up, the pressure from the hills, the mountains, and the rest also come down. So Accra would need a special engineering to be able to sustain itself and resist the pressures. If you look at Accra from Tuba or Langma, what we call the Langma Hills, through the McCarthy Hill, the Accra Scraps, which go through Ajin Kotuku Gonse towards Adeso, then crossing over to the Equiapim Ridge, up to the Volta region. You see the topography of Accra. And then sloping down, we also have river basins, channels dotted around Accra. So typically you will say that some of these channels are supposed to collect the water that will come from the hills when it rains and then straight into the ocean. But Accra has gone through very, very critical and unprecedented growth. This growth pattern of Accra has not been proportional with the social infrastructure development. So Accra is grown in numbers in terms of population. Accra is growing in numbers of social infrastructure, buildings, streets, what have you. And there's no proportional development of the infrastructure like waste management facilities, drains, and the rest that will take care of the actions and the living conditions of the people in Accra. I'm 61 years.
You don't look it.
The sort of drains and channels that I saw when I was a child, when I was 6, 7, are the same in Accra today.
No improvement.
No. Because Accra was developed at a time when the population was about 100 times lower. When the population is growing, we didn't have corresponding growth in issues about waste management. In fact, rather the waste management facilities we had in the colonial days have been taken over. They've been destroyed. They've been used to build shops, etc. So now waste management has become more private than public. Our drains have been the same. The drains we had at Asalam Down, Nima, Mamobi, Accra, Katamanto, Kokumpe.
You know where kids, there was a big drain.
Yes.
In front of the Barclays Bank.
So I'm
all
coming.
The way down.
All those
Now
drains
like
have
small.
rather, all those drains have rather
big one.
become
Some
smaller
strong.
because people have covered part of it, people have choked part of it, and all.
Or maybe the engineers thought it's better to be narrower.
You see, so these things have all contributed to the situation in Accra. And then my brother talked about one issue which I think that is very, very important. Look, we have channels, Odo, Kole, Chemu, Densu, Peshin, Onyansia, Lafa, Mokuse, Klote, Sakumo. All these are there. But human activity has affected all these channels in a manner that has become very, very difficult to maintain. The other side of it, Umaru, is the fact that there's governance inefficiencies and ineffectiveness, what I call governance delinquency. It has been there, generational.
Explain what it means.
What it means is that, like he said, there are people who are being paid by government and by the state to be responsible for the maintenance of certain level of enforcement in our local governance system. Be it the engineers, policymakers, those people who are even appointed or elected to hold certain people to account and to enforce certain regulations. Like Lai said, when he was minister, he did this, he did that. When he was minister, he did that, he did that. You understand? You cannot have 100% from everybody. And some of them, when he was there, there were people at some of the local assemblies who were giving out permits to people to build at places they were not supposed to build. So even though he was enforcing and making sure that Accra lives according to what is supposed to be, there were people under him who were corrupting the system and making it impossible for the laws and the regulations to be enforced. And they are there, plenty. Umaru, let me analyze it in this way. No society will develop, will grow when it's indisciplined. When there is indiscipline, there's no way any society will grow. No house, no family, no community will thrive when there is indiscipline. When I'm disciplined and I do what I'm supposed to do, you do it, he does it, cumulatively, we will have an effective, efficient, good system. But when we are not, and we do what we want, and there is impunity, corruption, there is mismanagement, there is inefficiencies, this is where we get to. Now let me take. When I was growing up in Accra, the system was said that in the morning, when my sisters have swept, they have now to go and fetch water from the public standpipe. So I take the refuse to the refuse dump. There used to be refuse dumps where we dump, and then there are refuse trucks owned by the municipal assembly. There are workers who will collect this refuse into a refuse truck, and the refuse trucks will take them to where they are supposed to be dumped. You get it?
That was the procedure.
That was the procedure. Over the years, that social service collapsed. My father worked with the municipal service. He was with the transport department, minibar service.
Okay.
OSA. So the buses also were there. We had bus stops. That is where the buses load. And we have stations, structural stations, where the structures also load. So we have Slaha, we have this place, we have this place. There was discipline. Nobody will load at a place he wasn't supposed to load. You get it? Nobody will throw refuse into a drain. We have people who enforce these laws under the council, Accra City Council. We call them Town Council, or people call it Tangas. In Akan people call it Saman. And when they come, and even you have not washed your bathroom, you have a problem. Those days, Accra, how many houses even had what we call today water closet toilets?
There wasn't any.
There wasn't any. People had pan latrines. There were people who would come and service your house, and they are paid by the state. Apart from that, we had situations where there were public bathhouses and public toilets. So those who do not even have the pan latrine toilets in their homes go to the public toilets. So that was Accra. Over the years, Accra has grown, Accra has developed in such a manner that government cannot sustain these social services. So we say, let each one take care of himself. But then, in all jurisdictions in the world, whether you live in your private house or personal house, social services are part of the local governance system. So the local government machinery strategically enforces regulations and laws that pertain to the provision of all these systems. So if today in your house, even a private person comes to take your refuse, your local assembly must be interested in the service that is being rendered by the private person. He comes to your house to take the refuse. One, are you doing separation? If you're not doing separation, what is the local assembly doing to ensure that you do separation? Two, which contractor comes to your house to take the refuse? When the contractor takes the refuse, where does he take it to? How is the contractor managing where he takes the refuse?
Government should be interested in all those
Yes.
things.
So we have these many Aboboya operators in Accra.
Which are not even structured, informal.
Who is monitoring? Who is interested in how they take the refuse from your home, where they take it to?
Nobody knows where they take it to. Nobody cares.
So you see the problem. Unlike before, where the governance, local governance system was interested, when we have transited to a much more private, organized system according to us, you live in your private house, you have your waste bin, the person will come and collect it.
There's no baller to go and dump anymore. Now it has to be taken in front of your house. And that's supposed to be better, but it's not.
Yes, because we are not interested in the chain. There's no governance system within the chain. To be interested from where it is picked, how it is picked, where it is sent to, how it is disposed of.
I just want some information. Titus, in the past, we used to have the landfill sites at Bong. It became full, we closed it down. And then I think there was one at Nongwa, they said Zoomline was doing something, that one too, I don't know something. Do we even know where we dump refuse now? I'll come back to that.
As we speak now,
Yes.
we don't have a dumping sites. They're all full.
So when they collect...
But that is why Zoomline put up at your place, Mudo.
Yeah, Arikop.
Arikop, where they process into,
okay.
what do you call it?
Manure
and
fertilizer.
So as a city, we currently don't have a place.
Currently, we have a challenge.
A big hole to go and
we
dump.
have a huge challenge.
Someone called me a few days ago and said that the Shire Hills, where they blast the rocks and collect their quarries, said there are very huge, holes that have been created as a result. We could come and be dumping there. But again, that has to be structured. Some bigger trucks have to carry.
Umaru,
you can't expect Abubuya to move from...
When you dump, over a year, 2, 3, it will be full.
So it's not a hole that is a solution.
We need innovative ways of managing our waste. As far back as 1962, Kolebu had a much more advanced technological way of managing waste. Incineration.
In the incinerator.
You understand? It was not only Kolebu. We had even Kwame Nkrumah started building one in my constituency, near the timber market. Called Kole and I know Yakokumpi. Kwame Nkrumah started building one there. When he was overthrown, that was the end of it. Because Nkrumah saw that it will get to a time we cannot continue patronizing landfill sites.
It's not the future.
It's not the future. Because land doesn't grow. You understand? In anything, the engineers will tell you that land rather shrink because of human activity and development. So, Umaru, this is a big problem. Secondly, we have a situation where population is growing. Population is growing. We have these same old drains over a period. If all of us were pouring, assuming 4 of us were pouring water into this channel, and now we become 100, the channel cannot hold that water anymore.
So the street will take it.
Thank you.
And then the homes.
So what were we supposed to do? Expand that infrastructure. We haven't. Or create channels where that is, in fact, we rather move faster, the water will move faster, so that even when we dump, it can go. We haven't done that. So that is also a problem. The next one I get into, we have so many slums developing in Accra. So many. So many slums developing in Accra. Those people, how do they manage their waste?
Same place they live.
Thank you. My brother was talking about somebody dying in a kiosk. Is anyone supposed to sleep in a kiosk in the first place?
But their whole family is in kiosks.
Thank you. So the population is expanding. Then we have housing deficit. So people are creating slum situations, kiosk estates and things.
Even in Spintex and other places.
So a developed place like Spintex.
Yeah, I saw one and I was scandalized. I did a report on it.
Thank you.
It's a whole estate of
So when it
kiosks.
rains, those structures are not situated on any strong foundation. So they can be moved away. These are some of the problems we have failed as a country to look at critically.
I'll come back so that you talk to me about, you are the member of the government or the party in office. What measures are you taking now? And I'll come to you, Titus, so you tell me what measures ought to be taken. But I want to hear from the engineer. So I've not cut you, but I want to hear from the engineer. Usually they say that I should not allow the politicians to take over discussions around technical matters. You are the technical man. Is our problem an engineering problem, an attitudinal problem, or a leadership failure?
It's a leadership failure, pure and simple. It's a leadership failure. And I hear my political friends all trying to avoid it. But he has quietly pointed out that, look, it's a leadership failure. Because technocrats can do all they can, do all the planning. If the politicians say we are not allocating money to it, what happens? So you would see that over the years, there have been several reports that have been done. All the projections the things that Garrett has spoken about currently, they've been said in the past, but nothing has happened. 2015, we had this flooding. Go and look at the report that was generated. What has been done with that report? Nothing. So the issue is leadership failure. Because if you look at the fact that the state regulates spatial planning and development, we cannot attribute it to anything else than to say it's leadership failure. We can say citizens are indisciplined, but is the government disciplined? You understand? Because it is, if government enforces its rules, citizens will have to fall in line. But the state itself fails. The state itself is involved in indisciplined behavior. When state facilities are being put up, look at all the roads that are being put up today. Go and find out whether the environmental impact assessments have been done on any of these roads. Look, we are putting up a 10-lane from here, Accra, to Tema.
Yeah.
Do we know the impact on flooding? Has it been done, and are there mitigation efforts being put in place at the moment? So the state itself is indisciplined.
Ideally, what should we do in such a situation?
You see, when you are looking at that infrastructure, you should ask yourself, what is going to happen when we put 10 lanes there? There's going to be a lot of more runoff water.
But motorway always had drains when Nkrumah did it.
You see, we are assuming that drains alone, and that's where the Ghana Institute of Engineering has come out with a statement. You see, drains alone are not going to take care of the problem at the moment. One, because he made a statement, Accra is technically a flat-lying area. So you can put in drains, but there's a limit to how quickly the water can be channeled away. So that is the limitation.
The topography is
exactly, the topography is large, it doesn't support quick drainage.
Okay.
Now again, the other problem is that we assume that once it drains, the sea will take it. What if the sea level is high?
Oh.
What happens? You see, and that is one of the things that happened on June 3rd, 2015. The sea level was high, so the water couldn't go into the sea. So we had to flow back. So we are assuming that drains are the solution. No, drains alone will not solve the problem. We have gone beyond a stage where drains alone can solve the problem. We now have to trap water deliberately.
Reservoirs.
And this is where the basins are gone.
Which is something we used to have.
Which is something we used to have.
Artificial and natural
exactly.
ones. All of them gone.
Exactly. Now we need to create artificial ones. And let me give you a story ahead. When they were redesigning Airport City, they knew that, look, by redesigning the place and putting up all these buildings, there's going to be a lot of runoff water. So they decided that they need to have an artificial pond.
Okay.
And the artificial pond, you know where the artificial pond was supposed to be?
No.
Where we have Silver Star Towers. It was one of the first places that was sold out.
Wow.
I mean, that is state indiscipline.
Yeah, I'm just picturing it, and that's like a lower ground.
Exactly. So the whole idea was that we are going to have a lot of runoff water generators. So let's create an artificial pond. And that was the first place we sold out. So again, the technical solutions are there, but we have government and state indiscipline. The state through its agencies is not acting properly. So the citizens respond to what the state monitors and manages. So I have no qualms when anybody says citizens are indisciplined, no problem about that. But what direction has the state given? So when we talk about leadership, there's no qualm, it's a leadership failure. We talk about, look at our roads. MPs driving in through traffic with sirens. That is illegal, but we continue to watch them do it. And nobody talks about
So
it.
they won't feel the impact of the gridlock.
Exactly.
So they won't fix it.
Don't fix it. But beyond that, it is indiscipline in itself because that is not allowed by the laws.
And they give themselves V8 so they won't feel the potholes.
Those are the things. So
It's only when the flood happens that when they get affected.
unfortunately,
But Chado was affected.
unfortunately, you see, the rains that fell on 29 June was about 140, measured at some stations, it was about 153 millimeters at a particular station somewhere. The rains that fell on 3rd June 2015 was 244 millimeters of rain.
So the 2015 one was much
Was
higher.
heavier. So the 2015 rain was heavier than what fell on 29 June. But the extent of flooding this year has been worse.
Because I covered 3rd June, and
Yes.
I remember the devastating effect of 3rd June was the fire. If it wasn't
Exactly.
for the fire, we wouldn't have spoken
The number
about
of
3rd
deaths,
June that
exactly,
much.
exactly.
But yesterday's own or Monday's own was actually the volume of water.
Exactly.
I saw people's cars submerged in their homes.
Because of the discipline, much more problems have been
years.
created
Yes.
over the years.
So let me give you, so the institution,
10 years.
the Ghana Institute of Engineers says one of the major things is we have failed in the planning.
No.
You see, you need to plan a city. A city should be planned and developed according to that plan. When we fail to
Plan it on paper and implement
yes,
it
plan
on
it on
ground.
paper and implement it. So that is why the colonial authorities, even with all the things we have against colonial authorities, they planned the towns, Jamestown, Choco, all those places were well laid out. And unfortunately, over the years, we have destroyed all planning. Go to East Legon, the most unruly place you can find in Ghana.
Beyond the Lagos Avenue, everything else at the
Exactly.
back
It's
is
chaos.
it's a slum.
Go to even airport residential area, it's now terrible. So you see, we are destroying planning. So the planners may plan, but the politicians say, no, me, I want to put a house here. Look, let me give you a typical example again. The state deliberately decides that we are going to do infilling. What is the impact of infilling? When the state decides that we are going to do infilling because, oh, the lands are too big, they are too big, let's do infilling. And they sell the lands to themselves and their cronies. And then they begin to put up high rises. And all that runoff water, where does it go?
Because we have land use and special planning authority.
Yes.
It's a creation of parliament.
Exactly.
It's supposed to help with planning.
Exactly.
It used to be what? Town and country
County
planning.
planning.
Are you saying that the law has improved, but nothing has
Nothing
improved
has
on the
happened
ground?
because we don't enforce laws. Because we don't enforce laws. That's the unfortunate thing. We don't enforce laws. So we've made all these nice laws, but we don't enforce them. And I was quoting one the other day, where it says that if you have a plot of land and you want to put up a building, you cannot build more than, you cannot develop more than a certain percentage of the land.
The rest should be grass.
The rest should be grass, so that it allows water to go into the ground.
But we tile the whole wall,
Exactly.
the whole compound. Even the wall, we tile it.
Exactly. So what are we expecting? And who is supposed to enforce that? The local assemblies.
And they give the permits.
And they give the permit. So I'm saying that without accountability, nothing is going to happen. We've seen this flooding. The question we need to ask is who is being held accountable? Then I hear people say, oh, let's not hold anybody accountable. Let's not blame anyone.
Why?
We must blame people. People are accountable.
The back has to stop somewhere.
It has to stop somewhere. You see, until we begin to charge the MCEs who have allowed permits to be given to certain places. And I feel saddened when I hear people say, let's blame chiefs for selling land and people, families for selling. No. In the first place, we have identified as a nation, and this is where I like the satellite pictures being put out by Garrett. Clearly, we can trace back 30 years and see which lands were reserved for holding water. And over the years, who has given permits for people to build in those places? Until we begin to go back and say, hey, you gave this permit. Why? On what basis did you give this permit?
I have seen a
And
document
deal
in
with them.
circulation where an area in Chado, I think it's supposed to be a swampy area, someone gave the permission for it to be rezoned and called something.
Exactly,
I
that
saw
newspaper. Exactly. And this was an assembly.
Yeah.
Advertising that we are going to rezone this swamp area for somebody to develop. Has anybody got a public comment? In the first place, the assembly shouldn't have put that advert out. You see, so people who manage our assemblies do not understand the job they are even supposed to do. They simply think they are just a rolling desk where things come and they just push it. They are supposed to manage spaces.
We
Look,
don't
if you
punish people for...
We don't. You see, because if you go to the UK, you go to any other developed country, the people who manage the cities are responsible for security, sanitation, drainage, all those things. They don't take it for granted. So when an event is even happening, somebody's organizing a huge event, they decide that you can't do this. Even if you, assuming you were running an event like Shatta did at the Independence Square, they would have determined that, look, we can't allow cars to drive in there. And therefore, because it will affect everybody else who lives in that area and all that, they will determine that, look, let's block this area. There will be, city will provide buses from here, then you can park your car anywhere so that you reduce congestion in that area. But here we don't control anything. All we do is policemen should come and stand around. That is not how to manage. So the city authorities need to understand their roles very well. But it's become a position where we just give out to party cronies. Once you have one power, so you to go and become DC of this. And those are the fundamental issues.
What happened on Monday, in some jurisdictions, we could say someone could be held criminally negligible or responsible, and then negligence can be given. Do you think that in Ghana we could possibly prosecute someone and say you are responsible for the flooding that caused the death of people?
Until we begin to do that.
How? This is possible.
Yeah, but I mean, we are not doing it.
Are we not pointing up figures? As we are talking now, we know where the problems are. So if we are a disciplined society where laws work, we can easily say this assembly, this assembly, this assembly.
But you see,
there should be a class.
But you see, beyond that, you realize again that we have dismembered assemblies to the point where they are no longer effective.
That's another issue.
We have dismembered assembly. Again, that is why I'm saying leadership. On what basis did we disintegrate
so that we can have more constituencies?
Exactly the point. Yeah. You see, we have made the assemblies ineffective. Let me give you in 2000, Accra, Greater Accra, had 5 assemblies. Okay. 5 assemblies.
26 years
Today,
ago.
2026, we have 29. The same area of
29.
29.
So 24 in 26 years. 24 more in 26 years.
I mean, how do you accept that?
Every year, one district.
That's what we've done to us. So now, even the government in power today says we want to build 24-hour economy market. Some of the assemblies can't find land. The consequences of the political decisions we took over the years.
Even the one district, one hospital thing, they said they
can't find land. You see, because if you are an assembly, you must be able to have your own waste disposal site.
Yeah.
You must have your transport management system underway. You must have your water, everything well managed, so that you know that. That is why Vanderpuye from here, he was trying to create the idea of a city mayor. He tried, but it didn't work out.
Yeah.
You understand? You must manage all these things properly. At the moment, this rain again, and all the floods that have happened have exposed the problem, waste management. And today, as we sit here, Greater Accra, there's no single engineered waste management site, disposal site. There's none.
I thought there was something at Ajin Kotoku.
No, there's nothing. Nothing is working in Accra. Waste management.
There was something. Okay, it's not for the state, it's private. It's private. And the Nungwa one was also private.
Yes.
Nothing is working. So now, Greater Accra, they are sending waste to Nsawam, Adepa.
Yes. And Ashalaja.
And these motorcycles, they definitely don't go there. Yeah, they dump it on the way.
Do you know the distance from Accra to Ashalaja?
So again, let me. So you see, we are compounding the problems within our cities because we think that city management is not important, but it is important. Years ago, I mean, for those of us who are old enough, you remember that. Look, we had buses that ran on time in Accra. We had, like he said, there were bus stops where you know that if I go and stand here at this time, I'll get a bus that will take me to Accra Central. That will take me from here to here. Where is all that gone to? In a time when we say we have modernized. So the modernization is not about simply putting up infrastructure, putting up high-rise buildings. It is about the service that you deliver. So a few years ago, I made a statement that Ghana must be engineered. And people said, what am I saying? If you engineer a city, everything works. So that productivity improves.
Is it not too late?
It's not too late. You see,
can we demolish those places?
That is what it takes for leadership to do.
It's always done.
But our leadership is running away from the issues. Then we'll go round. Oh, let's set up a committee. The question is, what has happened to all the previous committee reports? I mean, we don't need to set up a committee. Okay. And I'm saying here now that it is glaring in our face what is happening. Okay. Achimota Forest, one of the few left places, that will hold water. What are we going to do with it?
We willed it.
No, let's forget about that willing and issues like that. But I'm saying that it is there as it is now. What can we do to protect it? The first thing we need to do as a state is to say, what can we do to protect what exists at the moment? Then we can go on and clear the other ones that we need to clear. But we should ask ourselves, what are we doing to Achimota Forest?
Okay.
And the problem of flooding is not just Accra. Unfortunately, we limit the debate to Accra. Takrade, most parts in the Volta region, Ashanti region, it's extending to all the cities.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody showed a picture of Sunyani, the streets in Sunyani and issues like that. We are extending these problems because of bad behavior.
Sunyani is supposed to be our cleanest city.
Exactly. So we need to sit down as a people and say, how do we, for now, immediately, where are the green belts in Accra or in all these places? How do we keep them?
Okay.
And I'm saying that one of the things we do, and that is how cities are managed, is to say that, yes, the land belongs to families. No problem about that. Government, it is not government land. But the zoning says that this place is a forest reserve or it's a green space.
Can't do anything about it.
You can't do anything about it. You can't put up certain structures there. Then we can say that, look, because the land belongs to people and they need to make some revenue, can we make it a park? Where the families can develop it all right. They can put a gate around it, toll the place, and make some revenue. But at least we say that it is a green belt.
And it must remain so.
And it must remain so. A Land Park, I'm sure people are eyeing it. People are looking around every day and say, can we take a piece of this land? Let's leave it as it is. Because that is one of the few places around the whole of the ministry that can absorb water.
Yeah.
But I'm sure people are eyeing it every day. How can we pull down structures? How can we put up some high value property here, make some money? So for me, city management, leadership is core to preventing flood in the city.
Thank you, Engineer. So we are looking at solutions, and I'm coming around the table, so we'll do solutions. The government, through Finance Ministry, has released 350 million cedis for flood relief. The government has launched National Post-Flood Recovery and Mitigation. Is that?
Umaru, in responding to this question, let me attempt to disagree a bit to Kosi, where he lumped all politicians together in terms of leadership failures here and there, because where there was to be some arrangement, so to speak, where a politician would tell her, hey, go ahead and do it, just to break the rule. There can be one or two examples. But when you lump all of us together, that look, there are politicians who don't want to comply with the laws or that kind of thing, that may not be true. There could be one or two excesses where some politicians have failed in that arrangement. But that is not total to lump all of us together.
Titus, I also disagree with you.
Let me finish.
Kofi, let me finish.
Kofi, let me finish.
We are giving the mandate to lead.
Let me finish.
So we need to make sure that the people who work under us do go according to what
you cannot be everywhere.
Yeah, I agree with you.
You cannot be everywhere.
But we need to whip.
Can I finish, please? Yeah. Thank you. You cannot be everywhere.
But you have lieutenants everywhere.
I mean, that is where I am saying that you need to be proactive as a leader to make sure the people in the helm of affairs who reports to you, sometimes you go behind their back. When I was in office, sometimes when I'm coming from Tema to office, I don't go straight to the office. I head towards Islego or I go to Medina. You go to Zongo Junction, heaps of garbage along all these refuse on the way because they brought it from the market and dumped them there. I'll call the MC. Dedey, where are you? He said, I'm not leaving home to the office. I said, hurry up and come and make sure you call these things here. Because it's an eyesore. Kofi touched something about population explosion and the generation of these slums all over. On the stretch of the motorway, when you enter there, it's called when Natoshi was the MP, Jesus Christ, and I follow him into the slums. It's a whole community. A whole community votes.
If you want to deal with it, your party will not allow you.
You understand? And he said something. Yeah. Where do they dispose their waste? Solid waste, liquid waste. They just create these feces around the place. And the public health matter there. They defecate anyhow. And the solid waste, where are they disposing them? It is an issue that the local assembly will need to look at it.
You know, Umaru, I'm not cutting him. When he was a regional minister, I'm sitting here today and I want to say about him. He had a problem.
Yeah.
Because people were virtually reclaiming a Ramsey site in Dansoman to build. And he doesn't want to talk about it, but I'm saying it here. He got up against it because that is not right. He had a problem politically.
So the political will.
Is there, we must
and it has to be at the highest authority.
Yes, all of us must be responsible. As politicians, some of our own people, because maybe you may be a minister, but somebody is more connected than you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you understand?
So you can't do the work.
Yeah, so you move here and then you are called and say, Nekwate, Kosi.
What he's saying is true.
You can't do anything.
I've not told him anything.
And I think Henry Cotti also had
He suffered the same thing. But you know what? Before I attempted to go to the Ramsar, I had an engagement with the president. And I told him, Mr. President, I am sure that when I start this exercise, people will begin to backbite me and do all kinds of funny things. Please, I need your backing so that I can have my free mind and go. And I entered. And of course, people started. But because I've told you, the Lord, don't mind them. Go ahead and do what you are supposed to do. He touched on the issue about design of drains. Growing up in Katamanta, we are direct cousins. Yeah. From the old UTC to a Barclays Bank, heading towards Tazan, we had a big drain. As young boys, we went to the gutter and we played. We racing in the. Now they have shrunk the drain to like this size.
Even a rat cannot go through.
I'm saying that to this size. Wow. So the volume of water that comes from UTC, all that drain is like this. And people have used the space left to trade. Use that space to trade. Now you come to Tema Committee 1. Between the harbour roundabout to the post office, the drain was like this. Now it has shrinked. In front of my mother's house inside Committee 1, Kwame Nkrumah had a big drain like this. Now it is like that. So the design, the engineers too, will blame you too.
He said you shouldn't blame him. The politicians are
I also want to send it to him.
Implement.
No. So the design itself. You know, it's a major challenge to all of us that we need to look at. So you're asking me of the solution. We have to really look at the designs again. If you have a drain that is big, maintain it. If possible, expand it.
And this will be the assemblies.
Absolutely. Number 2, don't sit in the comfort of your air-conditioned office and give approvals. Move. If you are an officer, chief executive, a regional minister, move to the ground and see what happens. I go run at least 2-3 assemblies before I come and sit in my office. Move around. When I was in Vago, every week as chief executive, I go run in town plan 3 times. I've not seen any reading report. Before the report to come, I know what is there. So you'll be able to track everything that is going on. You read the report, you call the director and say, hey, I've read this report, but this is not what is on the ground. It tells you that the leader there is very proactive.
Otherwise, they mislead you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, again, we need to identify, like he said, the the dumping site. Now it will get finished. But technology and infrastructure will help us. Now the process plant that he has at Mudo to process the liquid and the solid waste into compost, fertilizer. It's good because he processes it and uses the fertilizer into agriculture. If we can plant some of them, erect some across, it's going to help us in deal with some of these things. 2, the desilting and dredging of these streams and these rivers must come on time. I can tell you where Sakumono is right now. Leave here this morning and drive towards Tema. You see these green leaves right at the estuary, the channel where the lagoon and the sea, they enter each other. It's choked. The next 2-3 hours continuous rain. The shrine, the Tema shrine, Sakumo shrine, right, is almost all covered. And you have people who have bought lands into the Sakumo lagoon. When I was in office, I went to, there's a lady called, he said she's a Sakumo Manyego. She was mentioning my name on social media, Titus Global, bye. Human being has built fence wall in the Call Lagoon. One Sunday I didn't go to church. I called the MC for Tema West. I said, let's go. We hide a backhoe. We use a hand to pull, because the whole place was muddy. If the backhoe and it was stuck. So we used the task force and pulled them down. We left the next day, the wall was fixed. 3 occasions. I told them, I'm not coming back here. It is your duty. Me, the regional minister, I cannot be coming and pulling down walls. That's number 1. Today.
But Titus, who was developing? Why didn't
You can't find.
Why didn't
We
Assembly
arrested.
prosecute them?
Kofi, we arrested the caretaker. We arrested the owner. We can find
So
him.
it's a common caretaker you found.
So the caretaker we found there. So they arrested him. They gave him bail.
He has nothing.
What can I do? The real owner did not show his face. So this is what is happening. The assembly should not sit down for these things to happen. They must be everywhere, everywhere, everywhere.
Okay, all right. I also want your solution, and then I'll finally conclude with engineer before we leave.
Oh, well, let me say this. As far solutions, myriad.
So the money has been released by the finance minister.
The money alone will not do anything. One.
But the committees too will not do it. The committees are becoming
attitudinal change.
The soldier we have seen, who we are told is the one going to...
No, they are going to do what we call the immediate response to make sure that the situation we have now is mitigated by certain actions. But after that, the laws must work. The indiscipline must stop. The corruption must end.
There's a man who used to be Accra mayor many years ago. People always celebrate him. They say he did a great job when he was mayor. I don't know if that was a Greater Accra minister or mayor. It seems we don't have that. So
let me say this,
yes.
Umaru. One of the things we talk about when it comes to the management of discipline and the general behavior around Kwame Nkrumah Circle during the Rawlings era was what? Salifa Mankwa.
He's the name I'm looking for, not a mayor. So he was only a mayor.
Do you know why? Do you know why? Because he made sure that the rules are obeyed. You don't have to cross the road here. You don't have to walk here. If we don't... Bro, that is all about us as human beings.
But you see, that's why the politics comes in. Henry Korte did this. For the first time, I drove to Medina Zongo Junction and there was no traffic. And this is because he made the city guards make sure they people use the full brake.
And people are disciplined.
But he was undermined, he was attacked, and then
that's what I'm saying. All boils down to the fact that all of us as a people must understand that this thing has happened and we didn't learn lessons from it. We can't have a different result when we continue to do the same thing all the time. So this time, by the grace of God, that is where I want to differ from my brother and all those who were criticizing the National Day of Thanksgiving. This thing could have taken thousands of lives. We must even thank God that we had it this way. You understand? I agree. And because you see, what I saw, the volume of water I saw, and the refuse I saw from, I don't know where it came from, through the Alajo drain.
It looked like a boat. It looked like a barge, not a boat. So a barge. It looked like on a barge. See, I saw the video. It was arriving until it arrived, and then it continued, and then it got blocked.
It was scary.
It was like someone decided to dump a truckload of refuse on the water. It's serious.
It means that people were dumping at a particular part of the drain for a long time.
Yeah, and finally the water carried it.
You get me?
I think you can actually sit on it.
So
that's how it looked like. Honestly, if you look at it, it looked like a big...
Awful.
You see, the general attitude and discipline in this country must end. You talk about Sunyani. When I grew up in Sunyani, Brong Ahafo itself was the most, let me say, planned region.
Okay.
Brong Ahafo. Today I go to Sunyani and I see lotto kiosks all over. I used to stand in front of the then Sunyani police station. I could see the last building at the end, and every building was online. Today, you won't see it.
It's changing.
Go to my place in Zongo Lane. We have a lane between Rufangoro to where we used to eat motu. Today, go there and see. It's gone.
There's no order.
So I'm saying that discipline is the first thing, and leadership. If leadership will be disciplined, make sure that the laws that we passed are enforced effectively and efficiently.
Titus Glover tried the leadership and the discipline team by going to sack someone from selling under a new interchange. You saw the backlash.
That's what I'm saying, that we need to be disciplined and leadership must be leadership. You see, I would prefer people call me names, but ultimately do what will bring relief to the people who will be calling me names. In the beginning, people will not see wisdom in what you are doing, but later they will all appreciate what you have done. Because if we have all maintained a very serious outlook at waste disposal and people not building in waterways and the rest, would we have come to this stage? You understand? And all of us, and I'm saying, and I, engineer, forgive me. I blame us, politicians, people in official positions, but I also blame you, the engineers. You see, if you don't know who you are, that's why you allow a politician to tell you what to do.
But the politician has political authority. You,
And-
engineer,
and
common district
you
engineer,
have the
they'll
professional-
transfer you to
you
the
have
north as punishment.
Oh. And you think that's the end of it? You don't have recourse to law?
No, so you stay quiet.
You don't have recourse to law? It's because people fear. Moro, when I was Minister for Sports, and we had this match, we had already qualified for Cup of Nations, we qualified for the World Cup. You understand? We had a match. We were going to play Uganda. And we didn't have money. Meanwhile, other disciplines needed money. The volleyball team had to qualify for Olympic Games. The disabled team has to qualify. And we had not paid allowances on the Black Queens and the Black Princesses. And people wanted me to use money, almost about $900 and something $1,000 for the Black Stars match.
Which is non-scoring.
Which is not scoring. Moro, against the many, many voices, including some of my own people, I told Mr. President, this is the situation we have. He said, that's why I've chosen you as a minister. Go and do what is right.
But how many would we get like that?
So what I'm saying, that's what I'm saying, that we need that discipline of ourselves. The engineer should be able to tell the MCE that, Mr. MCE, this is against the spatial planning of the district. I'm sorry, even though the person is your wife, is your mother, is your brother, I'm sorry I cannot do it. That is what makes him a professional public officer.
He got nerves.
He has to write the report. So that when he has written the report and the DCE or the MCE defy and goes ahead and give approval, he will have something to defend. It's because we are ready to succumb. Even though we know what the person is doing is wrong, we are ready. You understand? Somebody saw me building at the place. He will not talk. Because, hey, when I go and talk, people will insult me. People will point fingers at me. That is the problem we have in this country. People see, look, I've seen a situation where somebody was being picked. His phone was being taken from his pocket. People were standing there. They were not quiet because it's not their phone. You get me? Forgetting that when his phone has been picked, you will be the next. The problem we have to do that, we need to be each other's keeper and understand that this state is important, this city is important to all of us. Because the accounts have a proverb, they say that any say no one, but your boy assume no, only first person assume yeah. You get me? Yeah. Because today, the people who are living in Chado, who thought that the indiscipline and at the Ramsey site will not touch them. Now the water came from Teshinungwa, came to Chado, and their cars are gone. You get me? The people who were living, look, I saw what happened in a place like Malam, and I was wondering. We know that some people have built cement factories. A Chinese company has built a huge cement factory at a place where I was a child. The whole of that area, we call it a Pambros area. It's a swampy area. Pambros was given the opportunity to build the salt lakes and ponds there, so that they can even collect the water. From that place, to Dansoman. From that place, to Dansoman was reserved as a Ramsey site and as a go and see what is happening. factories have been built, churches, about 4 or 5 churches have been built, and people go to church every Sunday in that building. And they think that is the government who should. But I'm asking myself, all the assemblies, there, what do they do when those things were being built?
The contract was given at Accra. The Wijak Bawe MC possibly would not even know. All they do is that this is happening. How can you do?
Look, certain citizens even went to court on the cement factory.
They made a lot of
noise about it, about the pollution. But some people in government at the time were behind the construction. And it is happening all over the place. Yeah. So sometimes it's not just about the ordinary citizens, because like engineer said, I need the land. I've come to Accra. I've worked a little. You have come from Dodua. Yeah? You come to Accra. You wouldn't want to go and live there. No. So you want to build in Accra.
If there was a train, and that's what I always say about if there was a train.
You prefer living there.
I would live in my father's house.
I would prefer living in Ada and coming to work and going back if there is a train. Yeah. Because when I was in UK, I used to ride on a train for almost 2-3 hours. Yeah. You get me? But what I'm saying that, so in Accra, you want to have a place. So you go. In the dry season, they give you the land. They sell the land to you. Yeah. You wouldn't know that place is a waterlogged
unless you're a village boy, you know the grass that grows in waterlogged area. When you sit down, you know. Me, when I see, I know. When I see some weeds, I know.
When the person comes, it is not an assembly, because everybody who builds in this country need 2 permits. The development permit and the building permit. Am I lying?
Yes.
The development permit is to conform to the zoning and the spatial planning of the place. Yeah. And then the building permit is the building you are putting up. Yeah. Whether that building is even going to impact on the environment, whether you have to build a concrete, whether you have to build a wooden, all those things are there.
They do it from the office, so they don't even come and do the fiscal inspection.
So I'm saying, when the person comes, I've bought the land, as I said, I come. It is for him, engineer, to tell me that, unfortunately, your permit will not pass because this does not conform to the development plan of the area. Yeah. 2, the sort of building you want to put up. Like we have situation where we said, certain parts of Accra, you cannot have high rises because they are earthquake zone. Yeah. But people are building high rises in those areas.
Well, no one is stopping them.
I was talking to somebody yesterday, say, oh, Munya Madre, Munya Nyamokano, and then Pokra, you see that was wrong. You understand? Pokra, you see that was wrong. Okay. But, so, Umaru, the issue has to do with, the best thing we can do, money, anything we want to do, if you say that what we need to do to resolve this problem, I would say 1, the general discipline of all of us, people in authority, the state players, those of us, the citizens in the society, all of us need to understand that where we've gotten to, we cannot continue that way. And let's track back and be disciplined, conform to the rules and the bylaws we have, and let's all avoid a situation where I think I can take some money and let somebody do what he wants to do. Because at the end of it all, so the discipline of all of us is what will help all of us. If we can avoid being indisciplined and avoid the corruption within the society, many of these problems will be solved.
Okay. Thank you, Ni. And I'm looking at the videos on our screen. Very, very sad. Full vehicles being submerged. I'll come to Engineer today, but before that, I want to speak to another engineer friend of yours, Engineer Richard Kofi Ameko. He's head of drainage at the Ministry of Works and Housing, as well as water resources. Engineer Ameko, you're welcome to the big issue. Hello, sir.
Yeah, thank you, my brother.
Good.
Good morning to you. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
How long have you been in the government system as an engineer for? And I'm asking this because my panelists in studio are telling me that our drains are narrowing, or they are becoming narrower instead of becoming wider. I don't know if you know about this. They mentioned Accra Central, they mentioned Tema, and so many other places. You are head of drains. What's happening to our drains?
Thank you, Sanda, for the question. And good morning to you. Good morning to your cherished viewers. And then good morning to my honorable members on the studio. Yes, I have been in the ministry for the past 16 years. So I'm familiar, I know the basins in Greater Accra very well.
Okay.
For some years, what has been happening.
Okay, continue. I'm listening to you. Hello? Mr. Ameko, can you hear me? Apologies, I think I've lost Engineer Ameko. I'll try and re-establish connection with him because I want to know what the problem with our drains are and why he has heard of drains, supervising choked drains. Engineer Kosi Dedey, I can get your concluding solutions before we go on.
So, yes, I very much agree with the position takes that professionals need to stamp their authority and do what is right. But you see, when the same leadership decides that professionals will only rise in public service unmeritoriously, then you have a problem. Because change of government comes, and then people are changed, not because they are not professionals, but simply because you are not a member of our party. That is how politicians...
Professionals?
Yes, that is how politicians have destroyed our public service.
Civil service and public service.
Exactly.
How did they become politicians?
But you have even people in the Bank of Ghana standing for elections, isn't it? Contesting elections. Is that not so?
Bank of Ghana.
So what I'm saying is that even now, you see people leaving other private institutions, going to the Bank of Ghana because now a bigger building is there, there's small space, simply being employed. The banks collapsed in this country, nobody was held accountable. I mean, so these are the issues. You see, I agree, professionals, and I'm one of those people who continuously tells my own colleagues that we need to stand up and challenge political authority. As professionals, we need to do that. And I think that is only better, even if the professional bodies themselves also rise up so that they can better protect our colleagues in public service. So I very much support that position. Professionals need to stand their authority so that even unmeritorious issues need to be challenged. You see, these are the things. Look, VRA, let me give you a typical example of VRA. A government changes, people are just asked to go and sit home. Go and vet the kind of promotions that were done in VRA. Let's be serious as a country. So political leadership takes the blame, ultimately. But I say that I will encourage professionals to stand up to authority. Very important, because that is the only way you can then say that your profession is good for what it is. Because I am ashamed that any engineer from any developed country comes here and says, who are you? And says, you are an engineer. He looks around the country and says, you are not a good engineer. That is the conclusion that person will reach. So until we as professionals begin to stand up and say that this is not right, this is not right, we will be blamed. Okay. But political authority cannot run away. So one, now, we have moved beyond just drains. We need to look at the issue of retention ponds, creating them. So anywhere that we need to now create development, even private homes, I would say that let's insist, can we do rainwater harvesting? Let's do it. Once you have the money, I tell people all the time that if you have the money, do it. But especially for commercial buildings that are coming up, we should make it a law that they must harvest their rains.
Their rainwater.
They must harvest the rainwater and keep it.
Shouldn't just open it.
No, they
shouldn't continue.
And especially, look, and for all those who have built beyond the special requirements, we must find them. So, we must put in place levies.
So for instance, if you own a chain of shops in front of a main road, the car park where customers come to, you can do a reservoir under it, correct?
Exactly. Things like that.
So they collect the water.
So that you collect the water. When the rains have stopped, you can pump that water gradually into the drains. So for me, municipal assembly, you see, and the law allows them to be creative. This is where they have to sit down and say, all of you who have built beyond the special requirement, we are going to impose a levy on you. Okay. Effective now. And it should be an annual thing. They must pay. Because every year it rains and they are impacting the infrastructure. So they must pay. They must impose levies on them. So the municipal authorities need to be creative. Then we need to be holding people accountable. All the buildings that we are now saying we are going to pull down, if any of them has permits, we should go back to the people who granted the permits and hold them accountable. Okay. We shouldn't let it go. Okay. You see, because when you simply go and pull down that building, you haven't done enough. You must hold people accountable. Enforcement of rules henceforth is important. The role of
in fact, not
estate,
pulling down the building alone, but
dredging
according to the law, when you pull down the building, the cost of this demolition must be borne by the person who knows.
Exactly. Now again, the role of estate developers in this country, we have failed to regulate and control estate developers in this country. And that is also part of this problem. So people acquire a piece of land, so estates, they put up estates. Who is regulating that practice? Lands that are supposed to be farmlands, we are giving them, and that is why zoning is important. That is why I keep saying that unless we enforce laws, zoning laws and everything, we are allowing estate developers to buy lands all over this country, farmlands, next to highways, and the highways slow down.
My village, where I grew up,
Yes.
where we used to head cattle, we had to move our cattle to the Volta region because the grazing field has now been
When was
taken
the last
over.
time you went to Ada?
I haven't been in a while.
So
That
for
was
me,
all I was talking about. The Accra plains.
exactly.
Yeah, the watermelon farms.
From Dowenya going to
All our
Chokoli
estates.
now are becoming estate
Exactly.
development.
Let me just land. So we need to be mindful of these things. That estate development need to be regulated. Now, show me in the last 30 years any estate developer that has put up a central sewage system. You see, so the waste issues are leading to health crisis. Estate development must be properly regulated in terms of even the land that we give them to develop, then the kind of facilities they need to put into those places so that we can manage our cities better.
Okay.
You see, when you acquire a huge tract of land, the estate must be almost self-containing, where people have shops, they have all, so that they don't have to be traveling far. Then we also need to ensure that the drainage system, you see,
The services.
at the moment, where do we dispose of sewage? Which facilities in Accra do we dispose of sewage? So if you manage a city properly, you will see that very soon we don't have any space to dispose of sewage in Accra.
Put it in the sea.
Major problem. So estate developers must be regulated so that they must begin to put in central sewage systems and treatment facilities within the space that they have been given. If we don't do these things, the city is chaotic and it's going to get worse. And the impact on health is going to be catastrophic. So these are the things we need to go. If you go to University of Ghana today, that beautiful space that you see, if you go behind, right next to the registry, they are creating a waste dump there. Because there's nowhere to dump waste. So I mean, Accra specifically is in crisis. And unless leadership...
You mean the engineering department of the University of Ghana cannot develop ways of managing their waste within the university community?
So when you say the University of Ghana, we are autonomous, and that is why some years ago when Bevulo Lati challenged them when they were trying to put in a tolling gate, I supported that decision. I said, why? The university's impact on the immediate surrounding must be questioned. They can't do that. Now the university itself is creating a waste dump next to its registry. I mean, how?
Thank you, Engineer. Engineer Kosi Dedey. Let me now hear, I think I have a better line to Engineer Ameko now. Mr. Ameko, you were explaining to me as head of drainage in Accra, in fact, in Ghana, why our drains are reducing and becoming smaller. Oh, I'm told that I have lost him. This is the big issue on 97.3 CTFM and on ChannelOne television. Let me bring your messages that you have sent through. Ian sends a message. Ian used to work with the TMA. TDC, yeah, and he says, I'm listening to you live from UKT side, University in Middlesbrough. My regards to Titus Glover and Afote Layagbo. This in Okwe. He says, in Ghana, the laws governing land development and the size of plots or parcels are primarily anchored by two pieces of legislation, the Land Act of 2020, Act 1036, and the Land Use and Spatial Planning Act 2016, the LUSPA Act 925, alongside the Land Use and Spatial Planning Regulation 2019, the LI 2384. So that's the problem. We have the law, but we are not implementing it. This one says, so someone sent me a daily graphic publication of April 18, 1960, when the rains came to Accra. And
Sure it's not AI generated.
I don't know whether it's AI generated. And I've even seen a video where Jerry Rollins is walking in water, also in circulation. Cletus Cletus Abodakwi in Tema says, kindly tell Honorable Titus that the woman's body, okay, I've already read that. It says that that's from Konfo. It said the dead body has been found. Good morning, Umaru. I stay in South McCarthy Hill, opposite or across the Gan Municipal Assembly. Which of the Gans? There's Gan North, Gan West, so that should be Gan South. I think
That's South. That's South is Botiano.
It's
Wejagbawe.
Okay. Because it said Gan Municipal Hospital. Okay, it said Gan Municipal Hospital.
Yeah.
Okay. Towards the Pentecost prayer camp called Salvation Prayer Camp. Our situation is a simple disaster. Again, we are close to the dam site and our rooms are filled with flies like plague that hit Egypt during the days of Moses. We expect our DCE and possibly our MP to quickly organize to desilt the drainage, which is completely blocked. We desperately need help because another downpour will worsen our plight. Politics must be put aside. We need help. That's Uncle Ben in McCarthy Hill. This one says, hello, sir. I have a big problem. Why are leaders not seriously considering waste segregation? I personally segregate waste, pure water bags and plastic drink bottles, paper boxes, and food waste I personally use as manure. I teach people this, even close relatives, yet it is very hard. It is about the behavior. It comes down all in behavior. So that's a message. But the problem is that when you segregate it and the Aboboya guy comes, you collect everything and put in one machine and carry it and go and throw it at the same place. So you may segregate in your house, but when it goes to the what do you call it, the final disposal point, the same thing is just put in there. This is a big issue on 97.3 City FM and on Channel One Television. I'll take a break. We'll return to talk about a few other issues, including our problematic black stars. What should we do with them? We've gone for foreign coach, local coach. We've gone for Jordan Ayew. We've gone for Dede Ayew. The whole thing is just... Please stay. You're welcome back. This is a big issue on 97.3 CTF. You're looking at my... So I plan to wear the Black Stars to come and celebrate this morning. And that was a shirt I had ready to wear this morning. And then things didn't go well. So I decided to wear it, but cover it with a black suit to show that I am mourning the Black Star.
Moro, but before we go to this, will you permit me to make this? There's one point.
I didn't even introduce you now. You come back to okay.
Oh,
when he started journalism, I was in primary school, so I cannot. When he interjects, I can't say anything.
there's
Crash, eh? Okay. Or possibly I was not even. Which year did you do the GBC thing?
GBC.
Yes,
I was in GBC from 1990.
I was 3 years old. Oh, fine. Please take over.
You know, Moro, there's one thing that all of us, Umaru, there's one thing that is also losing on all of us, and that is environmental degradation. We are doing sand winning indiscriminately in parts of Accra. Do you understand? We are degrading all the forest cover of, for example, the Tuba and Langma Hills.
You're fetching.
In fact, right now, somebody, I don't know who gave that contract for a quarry to be started at Langma. Langma, which is traditionally and culturally one of the most religious areas of the Ga people. Now a quarry is starting there. Once you start a quarry, what you're going to do is that you are going to hit the rocks. So that the sedimentary nature of the rocks will be disturbed. Now when it rains, it will wash all the soil, the topsoil, down. And that is why we are suffering on the Malam Weja Road. The sand and the soil that is coming down is as a result of the indiscipline and the degradation of the Langma Hills that we have there. Look at all the constructions, including the mansion of our legend. You understand?
On the mountain.
Yes. And when it rains, all that silt washes. And right now, it is washed off the road. That road which we spent millions of dollars to build is gone. Because you know something? The problem I have with my engineers is also that when they were constructing the road, knowing that the road will be in a low area, whilst we are hills at the other side, they should know that water will come down. And there is no infrastructure to collect the water.
The debris, we put a net on the mountain.
Oh, that one is not even the problem.
You can't do something similar there.
You know, what I saw other places is that they have something like concrete slabs, which are put on steps. It creates like steps. You are aware of it? All over. People even use it as places. So create steps, but nothing of the sort has been done. 2, now there is no even, like he says, a reservoir that will collect all that water and sand coming from the top. So when it rains, that place is a disaster. It has been there since 2001. That occurrence, daily occurrence. I remember asking former Minister for Roads, Ofuria Amakwanta, when we were on the appointments committee, that what will you do about it? One thing I thought the engineers told me that we should now look at reinventing the old Accra-Winneba Road. You understand? I said, yes, beautiful. I would love that. So that it will take...
Solve what problem?
To solve what problem? Is it traffic problem or the environmental problem we are having? They are looking at, oh, we're connecting the old Winneba Road so that when there is pressure, I said, look, but this one, we spend money to build. And we need to solve this problem first. I live in that area. Umaru, sometimes it takes you 4 hours.
To cross a short distance.
From Tobut to Malam Junction. 4 hours. We're having the same problem at, what do you call it, Asori Damu Junction. From the Matayoko Dansoman top there. The road is gone. In that traffic light. The road is gone because all the water that flows have to wash away the road.
The Hansonic Junction.
The Hansonic Junction.
Same thing.
It's gone. Atiko Junction.
Yeah.
The same problem. So
traffic light.
the problems are there. And I wish that engineers will look at this and say that, look, this is what we need to do. Like he said, if we don't have situations where we have, in US we have dunks, you understand? It's like a huge, what do you call it? It's always round. What do you call it? Tunnels.
Okay.
They're like tunnels.
Okay.
So the water and the silt all come and then goes down again, go through to a particular place. So even in times of disaster, people even use it as escape routes because they have entries. This is not being done. Right now, that place has become almost impossible to live. Apart from the traffic it has created, the nuisance, all businesses along that line, Atala, and the Guel banks, and all those businesses are collapsing. So I think that we must solve the engineering problem. Now then we'll look at the attitude and the disciplinary side. Then we can say, because I believe that when you do roads like that, I have seen situations in Austria where they plant something like small rocks, like what we have done in the circle. You understand?
Or when Titus went to push the table. I think they have to, you put the rocks, right? No, I'm not mischievous. I remember that video very clearly. When you were trying to prevent hawkers taking over the place.
Greens are done at the side to prevent the water from...
So let me just cite a few things. So yes, why didn't the engineers raise the road? When the engineers possibly were building that road, they understood that the city was going to be managed properly. That permits were not going to be given rampantly for people to just build anyhow. So you see, it's not, let me just explain. When roads are being designed, they say, okay, what is the traffic flow you want? They put a number of parameters and say, okay, these are the things we want to do. What are the axle loads that are going to be imposed on this road? They take all that into consideration. What is the runoff water? Do we need side drains? They put in all those things and put them up. When they have done that,
they don't look at attitude. Of the people within that environment.
But they can't manage that.
No.
You can think for them.
No, you see, so let me learn. You see, yes, so you can engineer to control people's behavior. I agree. Yes. That is why the cities must be engineered to control people's behavior.
I agree.
The road people are saying, this is a road we are putting through here. These are the parameters we need to look at. We have looked at it. We have built the road. So roads can be built, proper design, if it is designed properly, yes. Now the next thing is construction. Is it being constructed according to the design? If it is not constructed according to the design, it will get spoiled. So if the construction is done right, fine. The next thing is road use. Is the road being used as designed for and constructed for? So if we design a road and say the road is supposed to take 10 tons axle load, and then you start putting 13 ton axle loads on it, the road will get destroyed. Then people will turn around and say the engineers do a bad job. No. It now becomes a regulatory issue. How do we control the axles that are being imposed on that road? So let's look at it very systematically. When that road was built, was it flooding as we see today? No. So what has led to it being flooded? We must go back and look at that, the source of the silt that is coming in, and say, let's deal with that.
I am told that I have your engineer friend. I want to just hear from him.
Because I have something to say.
No, I'll come back to you. Engineer Ameko, is it Ameko or Ameko?
Ameko.
Ameko, good.
Yes.
Good. We lost you earlier. Please submit for us. You were explaining to us the problem with our drain. You are the minister for drains in Ghana. Why are drains not collecting water as they should?
Okay, so there are a lot of contributing factors to it. So as I was saying earlier on, you know, in all the basins, okay, there are these micro ponds. In Greater Accra, we have about 9 basins. Even now, it's currently 10 now because of the Kasua Okrudu. So in all these basins that we have, there are micro ponds within, okay? There are these pockets of wetlands also within. And then the major ones, which is the lagoon, the outfalls. You know, and if you are to follow, if you followed the press briefing, the press conference that was held yesterday at Jubilee House, you would have seen the videos and the pictures that we demonstrated or we showed to the public to show the number of, I mean, for the past years, the level of indiscipline in terms of not controlling development of people building haphazardly, I mean, and then also how the human factor is affecting the whole basin. We call the human induced. These are the main drivers. Okay, so what happens is people have encroached on this wetlands within these ponds. Even the lagoons that we have in the outlets or at the outlets, they are all heavily encroached, so they have diminished. They have reduced in capacity and even in size. So when it rains heavily, you would think that the drains are inadequate. Also, the waste that finds itself into the drain also reduces the capacity of these drains that we have.
Yeah, but I get that part, but the physical drain itself, the seniors here are saying when they were growing up, the drains were larger. Now they are smaller or narrower. Do you know about that?
Yes, it's as a result of the behavior of people, okay? At some places, they even push it to direct the course, okay? You could remember that some years back, because of the Langa issue, my brother, you go to places, Sanda, you go to places where you are to enforce the law. The local authorities, they even lack, they don't have the strength to do that. They don't have the power to do that because everybody is afraid, okay? And you know, they sold all this wetlands, they sold all this buffer along the streams that we have. So they end up changing the course, okay? Sometimes at some point, they even reduce the sizes of these drains. And these are air channels. So
they do this without prior authorization from the Works Department of the district assemblies?
Exactly so. Exactly
so. So someone decides to buy concrete to narrow a drain?
Exactly so. So this is where
and the assemblies, and you said the assemblies are afraid to go and fight these things?
Sanda, we work closely with the assemblies, okay, and we know what is happening there. These engineers, they go in there, and I can tell you, majority of them, they relocate to where they live because they are being threatened. Do you get it? So it's a whole lot of things. That's why I said that I am so happy, or I am a bit relieved with the task force this government has formed. Okay, this you know, the language we understand as Ghanaians. You and I, what can you do? You don't have any power. What can you do? So the task force, at least in one way or the other, I mean, it might reduce the indiscipline a bit. Do you get it?
Do you, by your design, as city managers and head of drains or person in charge of drains, do we have a plan to build reservoirs to collect water in Accra? Because the engineering advised that we should have reservoirs to collect water. We used to have natural ones. They've been covered. Now we have to put up artificial ones. As head of drains, is there any plan where some of our drains in Accra will not go straight to the sea or to the Odo, but rather in some big tank somewhere, which would be then released slowly?
Yes, Sanda. Yes, we have earmarked all these areas.
Where do you plan to put these up? Do you have a place for them?
Yes, do you know Abokobi very well?
I don't, but my people here know.
It's called Abokobi Pantai.
Yes.
Sorry, it's a Abokobi Pantai village area.
Mm-hmm. Land is very expensive there now. Everybody's buying land and building. There used to be a big baller. The baller has been collapsed. Now they are building houses there.
So you see the challenge.
So you plan to locate one there?
Yes, we have the natural ponds there that we have to reclaim. That is the whole thing. So we have marked all these areas,
I'll presume that would be for water from Ebri and what about other places in Accra? Do you have, because I'm just being told that Silver Star Towers, where it's sitting in Accra, in the past the plan was for that place to be a central reservoir for water. Do you have other places in Accra that we have planned to put up this reservoir so that all of us can go and help you push down whichever building is there, and then we can dig it and do that thing?
Yes, so if you go to the Sakumo Basin, there's a place called Adenta Fulani area. Okay, that is also a natural one, but it has been heavily encroached.
Are you referring to the Ashe? Are you referring to the Ashe Fulani?
Exactly, Sanda.
Where my people's cows have been drinking water. Okay.
I do not know that you have cows that goes there to drink water.
But you say Fulani, I'm one, so I just wanted you to know. Okay.
So that is.
How about Tema and maybe Accra Central? Do we have a plan to collect water somewhere?
Yes, you see. Okay, so if you say Tema also has the basin is Chemu East.
Okay.
If you go further upstream, there's a place called I've forgotten the name.
You don't have it ready in mind. Okay.
So yes. So
in fact, the former Greater Accra Regional Minister has a question for you. Please ask him, Titus.
Good morning, Rich.
Oh, good morning, Honorable.
How are you?
Honorable, I'm fine.
Currently, the Sakumo Lagoon.
Yes.
You see that weeds have grown.
Yes.
And they've choked the
mouth.
The what do you call it? The estuary.
The outfall.
Where the sea and the lagoon connect into each other. As you drive from Nungwa to Tema or from Tema to Nungwa, you see these weeds really heaped, these green leaves, right at that side of the lagoon, which is making it impossible for the water to enter and come out. The next couple of hours, when it rains, it will overflow on the road. It has happened before, between 1995 and 1996. That caused a complete break in the road at the time of Chairman Rawlings. So I'm asking you, is it possible you can find a way to dredge the Sakuma Lagoon and take all the weeds, like is happening in Nakuse, where VRA has time to remove all these greens from the river to make sure that they don't disturb the water dam?
Yes, engineer.
Is it possible you can remove all these leaves that are growing in the Sakuma Lagoon so that the free flow of the water into the sea?
Yes, Honorable. As I said in my submissions, all the lagoons along the coast, okay, where we need to reclaim, in quote, so that we can be able to accommodate a lot of flow coming from upstream. We've done estimates for all. The Sango Lagoon, the Sakumo Lagoon, the Kweshi Lagoon, and the Chemu East.
Chemu.
Yes. We've done estimates for all those ones. So, this is not an event, it's a process. So, and you know how this thing works. It's capital intensive. So, the immediate solutions, it's also part of what is cut.
Okay. Since we're talking about dredging, the Odo is a place we always know used to be dredged. There used to be dredge masters. What is the dredging plan for the Odo in particular?
Oh, Sanda, as we speak, Dredge Masters is still on that stretch. They were.
Is this supposed to be
a
continuous thing? Because remember, Lante has a question for you. Richard.
Ameko. Medekuku, what has happened to the Korle Lagoon Ecological Restoration Program, which you are supposed to champion?
Yes, Honorable. That question, you and I would have to answer it.
It's above your head.
For now, what I can speak to is what the garage project is doing on the Korle Lagoon and then the Odo.
You see, the garage.
Engineer, I have a question for you. You can choose to answer it or not. Are you able to do your work without political interference?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Are you sure?
It is. I've never had any political interference in my work. I think Titus, during their time, he knows me very well, and it's just unfortunate.
For the past 16 years.
We've had. So as I said before, the Odo it has been awarded for 4 years to dredge it. Okay, for the whole of last year, and then the previous year they started. Okay, they dredged from Caprice towards the Agbogloshi area. But the unfortunate thing is that, Sanda, you and I know what happens if it rains a bit upstream. It brings a lot of sediments in there. And because of the configuration of the Odo, so it allowed the position at the curve, where it mended, at the curvature areas.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happens is they dredge and there's a heavy downpour. It brings a lot of sediment in that area. But the program is of such that he would have to do, after he does the deferred dredging, which is the legacy material that used to be in. I remember very well that last year they dredged the bottom of it.
Yes.
They dredged the bottom of it, and then the sun has come in again. But the program is such that after your deferred dredging, you have to continue with the routine maintenance. So as our minister said the last time, he said that the dredging of the Odo, the contract will end 2027. So, and then the aspect of this dredging is that because it's a World Bank project, it's not the GOG normal dredging we were doing. You would have to do a lot of activities. Okay, it's not the matter of just dredging and dump. And go and dump the material. You would have to do screening, segregation. Okay, you need to dredge, stockpile it for a week or so for the water to, for the material to dewater. Then you take it to a handling site to do the screening before you're able to send the treated material. Because of the World Bank project, these are the rules, okay, which we need to adhere to. It's a unique program. It is not the normal dredging that we do. But during the rainy season, if you go to the outfall, the Korle, the lower lagoon, where it enters into the sea, you see that they stockpile a lot of material at the right bank of the Korle.
Yes.
But because of the next screening, so, and now it's water, so it's a bit difficult.
So you have to wait for, and there's no sun, and we have to wait for it to dry. Let's take it into an oven and go and bake it and give it to them. But
Umaru,
unfortunately, I have to let you go.
Umaru, I don't. You see, Umaru, the garage project also includes certain aspects, not only dredging.
Yes.
One, resettlement and relocation of businesses and activities along the path. So if you dredge and you don't handle the second aspect, or the people living there continually do the things they were doing in the past, it will
cause 90.
You understand me? Two, look, he's talking about they collecting. It's creating another problem. They are hippie collecting this dredge and they're collecting all this sand and hippie them at Old Fadama. You understand?
Where Henry claimed.
Yes. When it rains, all this water is washed back. All this sand is washed back. Now it is even affecting the Ring Road South. From
Kolebu to
yes, it's affecting the area.
The Central University.
You understand?
ICGC
the road
area.
is going.
Yeah.
So the issue is that if we are doing a comprehensive, sustainable program, which is supposed to have other aspects of it, you can't pick one out of it, do that one, and leave the other along the chain. Because it's like you are doing a value addition, and you are taking the middle part, the production aspect. What about the distribution? What about the manufacturing?
Thank you, Mr. Engineer Mako Esia.
Merci.
Okay.
Merci.
Maraku, go and do what you have to do. God bless you. Thank you so much for being here. Okay.
All right.
You.
In fact,
I want us to talk about Ghana football.
I wanted to come in when Lante talked about the indiscriminate winning of sand and other things. A major culprit to this activity was Caprotna, CP. When it was constructing the condition to Udoko that road, they wind that laterite from that part where it has created a big hole, where former skipper, where they wind that sand, that laterite, all the hole was created by CP. They use that laterite, they mine.
Which area is that?
From when you're heading towards Wager. After Wager, before you go to Bontian, look at your left. That hill that you see, that one, you see the wind gradually with time. That was done by CP. That was what they used to fill the land before they did the construction of the road. What was the city authorities doing at the time? They were then under AMA. So it boils down to what city authorities must do. Where we have reached,
that's what
there must be no excuse.
Indiscipline.
I'm saying, where we have reached, people must be punished. Whoever is in office, the president must make sure anybody who is making his work difficult, anybody who's not making the work to flow, they must be sanctioned.
Very well.
It is only when that is done that we're able to begin to have results.
Thank you. I want us to talk about Ghana Black Stars now.
Just let me make a point based on what you said. If you are going to Ho now, there's road construction going on from Accra to Ho. But let's go to Anyawasi area. The hill, there's a huge hill there. It's being mined to do the road. And the other day I was asking, why? But it's being mined for laterite and material to do the road. The same problems that are happening now will begin to happen there very soon. Because where is the impact assessment to say that if you are going to mine the laterite from it, when you finish, how do you restore that place? These are things that are going on, and the contractor is Sky Plus. Is this Sky something? What's the name? There's a name, it's Rockets or something, but there's a name for the contractor. So for me, these are issues that we must be dealing with now in terms of preventing flood in the future. Now we see it. How are we going to deal with it?
Okay. Thank you so much. This is a big issue on 97.3 CTFN on ChannelOne television. We have discussed how floods have swept our property and lives away. Now let's talk about how our Black Stars have swept our hearts away as well. Ni, you are a former minister for sports. I'm sure you stayed awake. I couldn't sleep. I had to wake up and watch the game. I wish I had slept. I'm sure you watched it too.
I've never had 4 hours sleep since the World Cup started.
Because you're on edge. You have to watch all the games.
Yes, because of my background, I need to watch all the games. And
when you saw what you saw last night or this dawn, how did you feel?
Disappointed, but I wasn't surprised. Because I said it in your studios. So I remember when I was on a radio program with the sports people, I told them that I expected us to go through the first stage and get to a run of 32. After that, it would be a miracle. If we could qualify to the round of 16, it would be a miracle. Or the quarterfinals, I will be surprised because of what had happened before the World Cup. We didn't have good preparation, we didn't have a team, and we didn't have a technical bench. The reality in that situation is that you can only play by luck. Lucky enough for us, we have a bunch of players who may not be technically superior to the teams of the past. If I put on paper technical, let me be frank with you, in terms of skill, technical ability, tactical performances, individual levels of performance and the rest, this team is the most technical of all Ghana's national teams I've seen in the past, since 1970.
Really?
I'm telling you.
Based on what?
You can never compare individual the players one by one.
Okay.
You can never compare these players to any of our previous teams. I'm telling you.
So individually they are strong.
You know, I'm saying the best player in this team, for example, as we all talk about, will be Semenyo. On the normal sequence, you can't compare Semenyo to Stevie Appiah.
So he's above.
Sule Montari, Kojo Asamoah. You understand? So I'm talking about individuals. When you put them together as a collective, what this team has, the others also don't have. This team has a heart. They were determined.
More than the 2006 people?
I can tell you, they were more determined. This team, more determined. The 2016, 2010 team were more technical. Okay. But this team was not technical. They were rugged, they were robust, they were determined, they had a heart. And when you meet a team that is more technical, like Croatia, like Colombia, you need something more. Because it will be brains against brawn. And yesterday we saw it. The first 35 minutes was the most deplorable performance I've ever seen of any Ghana's national team. I'm being frank with you. Our boys were just going to tackles by heart. They were not measured in their approach. They were making 40 passes. The turnovers were so many. We were not doing zonal marking. And we're going one-on-one and losing them. Look, it was abysmal the first 30 minutes. The second half was brilliant. You understand? Because we changed some members of the team. We brought in much more technically skillful players. You understand? Nyama, for example. Elvis, the one who came into the middle, comparatively with Sebo. So it freed Partey to move forward a bit. You understand? And that added to how we hold the ball, how we pass the ball. So you could see that our passes in the second half was much more better than in the first half. We could hold the ball, take on them one-on-one. Two, I think I've given Kyrgios credit, but Umaru, there is no way you can change four consistent players in the team in the next match and hope to have the same result. You cannot. You understand? Unless Ajete was injured and could not play, I didn't know why you could substitute Ajete with Lucasen. Because Ajete and the other boy, Opoku, had played 2-3 times, and they've built some cohesion, some understanding. Yeah, Minkovabo, use that. If you change all of a sudden, so you could see that there were situations where the two of them were clashing. Lucas and Opoku were clashing. Two, you have changed the keeper. Asari may have developed a language and a sort of form, a distance with them for the 3 matches. As soon as you change, you've totally disturbed the chemistry of the team. This is a new team.
Even though Ziggy is supposed to be the lead keeper, Asari just happened to come because Ziggy had to go on injury.
When we're going to the World Cup in 2010, do you know our lead keeper? Our lead keeper was Samia J.
And Olele came in.
Yeah, and took over. It doesn't matter.
For the rest of the...
Yes, you get me. So sometimes it's not just about... Laya Futiago was saying something, which is what any other somebody who is not technical would tell me and Titus, we played football. What Laya is saying, you may describe it as superstition, but it's true. Sometimes there are certain keepers when they are in the post.
They invite pressure.
They invite pressure. Some of them, the ball will not even come. It's all part of our whole human.
So you have to know all of that and play with it.
Two, you are playing against a team. If you had watched Colombia their matches, it's always the same way. They use the flanks and then cross wide behind the defenders. So if the coach had watched their matches before, he will have known what to do. How do you prevent them from crossing? How do you prevent that? They took over the midfield. Our midfield in the first half was on. In fact, Yerenchi, of all people, didn't know what he was doing. You understand? 2, what the hell was the coach keeping Jordan Yew in the match for all that time for?
He's a captain.
And so?
Father figure.
And so?
He was wearing double armband.
Oh, God, gracious me. You see, I analyzed the Colombia. I said, look, you have Sanchez and Kumini or something there. I've watched them in the Turkish league and the Italian league. Under pressure, they break. They start kicking the ball. They start fouling their opponent. Sanchez, from Tottenham, he has been calamitous. He goes on, but when you give them opportunity, they are the best when it comes to moving with the ball, coming with the ball, and stringing in passes through the channels. Sanchez is better at that. But when you put him under pressure, he breaks. So you don't need a striker who will be strolling down the pitch, get the ball, and use it when he... Look, you need a striker who will hustle them, who will make those defenders always feel their presence. You need a striker who will push him down, fight with him. That's what we're supposed to do. We don't need... Look, the time we brought Prince in was too late. I would have played for this match. I would have played Prince and Brandon Asante as 2 top. This match, I wouldn't play the formation the coach played. I would have played the player 2 top. Semenyo, Nyama.
On the flanks.
On the flanks. So they can always weave in and send in the crosses. And then these people will fight with them.
No Jordan in front for you.
I wouldn't have fielded Jordan in this match at all because, you see, Jordan will the way he plays, Jordan gets the ball and he moves with the ball, hold on the ball and all those things. But Jordan is not a sort of striker that will consistently fight the defender and let the defender...
He's a gentleman.
Thank you.
Too gentle.
They would have even been better than Jordan in such a match. You understand? So I think the coach won because he didn't really know his players. Because he didn't have enough time with them. He didn't really know the players. Because you see, they are players for matches.
Is it that he didn't know the players or his arm was twisted last minute? Because I saw people who said, well, they thought he had control until they saw last time.
You see, that is why some of us before this tournament were asking for players like a Champon, Hosin Odoi, what do you call him, Nketia, and all those places. The World Cup is finished. I will be demanding, 1, did the coach, before his appointment, was he told that he was going to be Ghana coach? So he did his own work on our players. Because the players, he had the opportunity just 2 weeks. How did he prepare this team? How did he get these names? Did he choose the players himself or somebody chose the players for him? 2, I've heard people saying that we invited the players, they didn't come. I want to see one text message or email from anybody around football to any of these players like a Champon, Nketia, Austin Odoi, George, and all those players.
And they said they won't come.
And they said they won't come. 1. Because what I know, even Danny Welbeck was ready to switch nationality.
Some time ago.
Yeah, no.
He's my dad cousin.
Thank you. I know. The father used to play hockey with Professor Mills, and I know the father. You see, the issue is that he, after being used by England more than 12 years ago, he has never been used. So had the opportunity by FIFA rules to switch. You understand? There were others. But because you see, if agents continue to manage our players for our national team,
won't get anywhere. I want to hear from your co-player before I come to you to conclude. Titus, what number were you playing?
I was playing 7 and 9.
Okay.
My last club was Afenia United.
Afenia United, oh, beautiful.
The season was 94-95.
Oh, wow.
Yes. You've asked a very brilliant question.
You didn't ask him. You didn't ask him what was his performance in those times.
But he had speed.
Oh, I know.
But I
done commentary on you.
You see?
Afenia and Accra folk at the Thomas Sports Stadium. I saw him. Wow. I saw the way Benaji treated him.
When Mr. President currently, then candidate Mahama, he said something that he would have loved that when he's in office as president, he loved most of the Black Stars to be homegrown players compared to the foreign players. Unfortunately, it did not happen. Right from the blast of the whistle, I know our Black Stars will not go anywhere. I've never been a fan of a foreign coach.
Okay.
Never. And he was in the chamber when Kosi Dedey was sacked. I caught the eye of Mr. Speaker of Kwe. And I spoke my mind. All the laurels we've achieved in soccer were from black coaches, from the lower level all the way to the Black Star. We never had a foreign coach.
Does it matter the color?
It is. But sometimes he has been a minister for sports. He fought them, the GFA, he fought them. Because everybody wants his player to feature.
So it's easy to manipulate the foreign coach than it is to manipulate.
You see, in fact, when they didn't take him as the sports minister, I knew we were going to have a problem.
Oh.
I'm telling you. Because the FA were not comfortable with the style of administration. Because for us, no cut corners. Whoever deserves or merits, let him go. Not because you're my cousin or you're my relations or nothing. He will make sure if you're on merit, he will let you go. Not because I'm your contractor or whatever you call it. That is one. Number two, Jordan as a lead. He can play between 20 to 25 minutes maximum.
Then go out.
One, he's so slow. That's his style of play. Very slow. And he holds the ball too much, inviting hard tackle on him.
And he can't.
Every time you see him on the floor, expecting the referee to come to protect him. As a striker, you don't hold ball too much. Your air ball, your ground ball, you touch, back, you move, back, you move. But when you only hold the ball when you don't see anybody around you.
And in this World Cup, the referees have been asked to let the ball flow.
So
they won't stop for you.
You understand? So for me, Jordan was a disaster. He should have played a maximum of 20 minutes and allowed the other young one to feature. That was one. Number two, they cannot hold the ball for long. And you talk about the first half. Anytime they get the ball, 1-2, then they call it for them. All the matches we play, from Panama to England and Croatia, we can hold the ball. 1, 2, 3 passes, then the ball is taken away from us. I openly hold the ball for a long time.
So
because we're too defensive.
Long time.
Possession is in their favor.
Playing Colts, playing Temahas babies, playing Kaiser babies. When they are doing the corner kick, the number 2 and the number 3 will always protect the corner ball. Look at the goal from Croatia, the second goal. The number 2 was not in the corner. And the player headed the ball straight there, where the number 2 player should have protected the ball.
Even yesterday's goal.
Croatia we deliberately lost so that we will not.
But you thought we would have beaten Croatia.
No, we thought Colombia.
You avoided Portugal.
We avoided Portugal.
You see, so Kosi, that was a problem. We didn't take advantage of our set pieces. Every corner kick, playing coats, from Haas babies to coats, Kaiser babies, here in Accra, and Afenia, and Hydro Stars. We are taught to take advantage of our set pieces, including see corner kick as a penalty. And it isn't fair.
And one person was taking all those kicks.
And
the same style.
And the same style, you know.
You kick, we don't get anything out of it. The next time, play short.
You see, they are playing as
in
if...
hockey, we have corners and we have short corners. In football, the same. The other time I kicked, they headed out. Second time I kicked, they headed out. The third time look, let me give you an example. Manchester United and I've forgotten the team. Bruno Fernandes kicked once. He didn't yield in the second. The third time, do you know what? Kobe Menu went. He came to Kobe Menu. Kobe Menu sent it back to Brian Bombo, and they scored. You understand? So sometimes you need to be creative and innovative, looking at the circumstance you find yourself on the field. So that's why you don't need a coach.
So you're not seeing that.
What I'm saying is that there was no formula, there was no plan. you really don't get the impact of whatever they are doing.
But why are we suddenly saying this? The England game, we celebrated it. We said the coach was brilliant. We said...
we celebrated because...
No.
It wasn't because it was any better.
It wasn't because we were brilliant. It was because the English had a bad day. Do you know the critique on their coach? If he had played people like Kobe Menu, Eze, and all those people, they would have beaten us. Because those people know how to go through our low block. Because they understand they have penetrative passes. They can take on defenders one-on-one, beat them, dribble them. But because the players he had were straightforward players.
And they couldn't find a way.
Anderson and Bellingham and all those. All that they have to is to move. Rashford, Gordon, just go across, and there was a blockade.
Okay.
You understand? When you have played a team with a low block, you need innovative players like Messi, who can take the ball and run one-on-one with you, dribble you and pass. So once he dribbles you, he creates a space for another.
Titus, so for you, where do we put the blame? The coach? So we should come back to local coach?
We have always been in front of local coach.
But should we sack our coach now? Is it coach
you don't blame the coach
so
too much because he came in very close to the competition. So he had very little time to assess individual players. For me, he has done his best. You can't blame him too much. But going forward, I would not love to have any foreign coach. Wherever Kosi Dedey is, you should go and fetch him and bring him back.
Titus, I wouldn't differ from you, but what I would say is that it depends on what we want to achieve. You understand? What do we want to achieve? Do we just want to qualify for the next World Cup or want to build a team for tomorrow? That can go beyond the next World Cup and possibly the second one. You understand? So if we are building a team, then we know what sort of coach we must go for. But if we just want to have a team to play the qualifying series and qualify, then you know the coach you go for. But if you want to build a team for the future, long-term planning, like Nkrumah did, like Achampong did, like Jerry Rollins did, we didn't just, the 2006-2010 team was not just picked. They had been together. Some of them have been playing together since the Valco schools tournament. They are tramps. They all those, we built them together. They went through transition. Some of them played in the 2009 Under-20 championship. You understand? So it was built. And when those people are phasing out, the way Asamoah Gyan, Stevie Appiah, Koji Asamoah, Muntari, Wakasu, when they were leaving, what plans did we have?
There was a gaping hole.
Thank you. There was no sustainable program to build from, because
so we went hunting, went fishing, and
yes,
then whoever we
this qualifying series, we used over 116 players to play the qualifying series.
From
how do you build a team?
So you don't know
from this number?
Who you need for. Let me hear from Dedey. You and I, we don't know football.
No,
we don't play football before. But I was giving broken hearts.
Oh, in fact, I maintain that the interest of our football managers in this country is at variance with our national interest.
Yes.
Because those managing football have a certain interest, and the national interest is completely at variance with it. They are in for money. So, can we sell a player? Can we do this? Can we do this? Unfortunately, I'm not one of those 30 million Ghanaian coaches. I don't know. I don't watch it. I went to bed yesterday.
Oh
yes, seriously.
You're unpatriotic.
No, it's not. because you see,
he has not been motivated.
The football we play is a reflection of our national issues. Look at leadership at every level. It's disaster. The national crisis we have now is based on the kind of leadership we've had over the last 30 plus years. This is what is reflecting.
So it's on all levels.
It's on all levels. All our institutions are falling apart. Because once you don't have leadership right, everything else falls apart. And that is why we are seeing what we see in our football. Who doesn't know that those managing our football are all corrupt? Who doesn't know?
You can't prove it.
They know it. And at least we have Nyanteji to show.
Umaru, I have asked one question.
Let's be serious.
I have one question. If the GFA knew that Otto Addo was not good enough to take us to the World Cup, why did we keep him until the time we sacked him?
But
are you okay?
So if we say that some people are manipulating our coaches and doing, do they benefit when we fail?
At the end of it all, people are doing poultry farm.
So just every chicken.
Yes, and then they sell. They make their money.
So they benefit. They
benefit. Whether you have sleepless nights or not.
Exactly.
They have marketed their players. Tomorrow they are going to sell the players.
So it's stock exchange. They are doing stocks.
It's enterprise. It's business.
You understand? Look,
it's painful.
Look, me, I say this. We must sit down critically and say that we are no more interested in the 2020, this is 2030 World Cup. Our next target will be 2034. So if 2024, who are the players we will need? How do we go around scouting these players?
Where should we start from?
Where should we start from? How do we nurture them? How do we groom them? How do we build them into a consistent team? Let me give you an example. All the teams playing in the tournament, even Portugal, Croatia, Modric, how many World Cups has he played?
Plenty. He's 40 years now.
Kovacic, Perisic, Stanic, all those players.
Messi and Ronaldo.
All of them. Harry Kane, even Harry Kane. The English team there, 70% had played together in the last 7 years. Consistently. So the team is there. When you go down, somebody comes in. So there's a perfect competitive atmosphere for everybody. You can justify yourself. So that's why England today, you have players like Foden out of the team, and Gordon is in.
So for us, every time is a new, we collapse.
We don't build teams. We don't.
Gentlemen, this is where time would allow us. It's been really great having you. I don't know why you're both wearing black. Maybe I
have a funeral. Your colleague, Kofi Asante, Peace FM, the producer.
Kojo
Asante,
yes.
The producer to the spouse.
Yes.
Then I have a cousin,
yes.
Daughter to Ingamashi.
I have four funerals in my constituency.
Wow. You still do constituency, but you don't.
Why not?
You don't have an election.
Why not?
You're running for national chairman. And you're running for organizer. So if you don't come for the Yala, problem. Chairman, if you don't come, problem. Kosi Dedey, thank you so much. Kosi Dedey is a quasi member of the CPP, who is an engineer and analyst.
He's a passive now.
Passive. Titus Glover. I like to mention his full name, Daniel New. Why was he calling you Kofi? Are you called Kofi too?
I was born on Friday.
Okay.
And they used to call me Kofi Lante.
But what's the Ghana name for Kofi?
We don't have.
No. Okay. So, Edwin Neil Lante Kofi Vanderpuye, former Minister of Sports. Titus, what's your day name?
Nikwatei.
Daniel, so Kwatei.
I'm Kwashi.
Kwashi, okay. Glover, former Greater Accra Regional Minister. We had on the phone Nilai Afotiagbo, Lion, former Greater Accra Regional Minister, and also Richard